Good morning, everybody. What's going on? DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk Studios this morning. Whether you are listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, online at sportstalk1051.com, WAYYradio.com. You got your smart devices, smart speakers like your Alexa devices. The app, download it, take it on the go. Video stream also up and rolling on YouTube this morning. It happened. It happened. Late last night, in case you're just waking up and you haven't heard. Giannis is no longer a Milwaukee Buck. Giannis being traded to the Miami Heat for Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jacquez Jr., Kasparis, the 13th overall pick in tonight's draft, 2 future first-round picks, 1 pick swap, and a second-round pick. Bobby Portis also going to the Heat in this trade. So there you have it. It happens. What's your instant reaction, your thoughts? It is a Toys and Four to grind my gears Tuesday, so if this is something that you would like to grind your gears about, hey, get it off your chest. All right, you can hit us up on that quick text line, on that quick with a quick text on the Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. Or you can hang out in the Section 105 chat room. But yeah, so it did. We threw out the question yesterday. Was it going to happen before the draft? And then last night, Giannis kind of with a cryptic message post on social media. Let me bring it up word for word here, but we shared it on our Facebook page. But he said that God, I trusted you at the beginning, and I will continue to trust throughout. With a picture of him kind of like walking off the court, kind of a cryptic thing, and maybe we know now. So, again, both Giannis and Portis being sent to the Miami Heat in exchange for Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Kasparis, Jacquez Jr., the 13th pick in tonight's draft. Also, you've got a pick swap in 2030, a second-round pick in 2033, an unprotected first-round pick in 2031, an unprotected first-round pick in 2033. We will see whether the Bucks keep Tyler Hero. Now, there was a report from Chris Haynes that said Tyler Hero is actually interested, likes the idea that he's back in his home state, home city of Milwaukee. But Tyler Hero, as we know, is a free agent after this year. So we'll see if he maybe signs an extension and such. Or they could flip him. Kevin O'Connor, by the way, from Yahoo Sports, saying that Jimmy Haslam was a driving force in taking the Heat deal for Giannis over Boston's offer. Haslam didn't want to risk Jaylen Brown wanting out of Milwaukee in a year after dealing with Giannis and Myles Garrett trade demands. Haslam wanted certainty, and the Miami deal provided more of that with more total assets in return to Milwaukee. So, what's your thoughts? Let's be open and honest, okay? Let's be open and honest. What's your feelings right now? How are you feeling? Huh? What's going through your minds? Yeah, Chris Haynes said Tyler Hero is thrilled about a fresh start and playing for his hometown team, the Milwaukee Bucks. Tyler Hero always envisioned returning home at some point during his NBA career. I guess we'll find. I think we'll find out tonight with the draft. maybe what they think about Tyler Hero and the long term. But there is still a thought out there that he could be flipped for more picks, maybe before tonight's draft. We'll see if that kind of plays out. But if he is that thrilled, maybe I would imagine his representation and agents and such probably kind of reached out and already had those discussions and that. But I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like Ron Burgundy in the cinematic classic Anchorman, when he's in the phone booth after Baxter, his dog gets punted into the river, to the lake, ocean, whatever. And he says, "I'm in a glass case of emotion. I've got weird emotion. You're sad, you're down, you're depressed, you understand it, you get it, maybe a little angry. A chapter is closed, not only in Milwaukee Bucks history, but in Wisconsin sports history. A chapter is closed. We could look back at the great memories and the fun ride, the awesome ride that was Giannis leading the Bucks to a championship, multiple MVPs, arguably the franchise's best player in its history. We got to witness that. We got to experience that. So we can appreciate the good times. We can look fondly back at those good times. But we can also be a little down and a little sad knowing that he's not going to wear a Bucks uniform, that he's not returning to the Bucks. And we could be a little sad or a little upset about that too. There's a lot of emotions going through this thing. So plenty of Bucks talk, plenty of hoops talk, and maybe there's also a sense of relief. Relief in the fact that, okay, we don't have to talk about this anymore. Okay, we don't have to sit here and wonder anymore what's going to happen. We don't have to deal with this constant talk about whether he's going to be traded or not. So yeah, there's a boatload of emotions going on right now for a lot of people, and understandably so. Maybe you could be more of the happy side. Maybe you're more of the downside. It doesn't matter. Everybody's different. But a lot of hoops talk, a lot of Bucks talk as we also get set for the draft tonight too, where the Bucks right now will hold the 10th and 13th overall picks. Before all that last night, though, Brandon Woodruff was on the mound for the Brewers, and boy, did Brandon Woodruff look good. Brewers picked up a 2-1 victory in extra innings, but it was 0-0 all the way to the 10th inning. Only 3 total hits for the Brewers, 2 total hits for the Reds. So if you don't like offense in baseball, you probably really loved that game last night. But Singer went 7 innings, 2 hits, 7 Ks, 2 walks. Brandon Woodruff, though, in his first start since April, 6 innings, 1 hit, no walks, no earned runs, 10 strikeouts. That completely exceeded my expectations. He threw 79 pitches in the contest last night. Brandon Woodruff looked awesome. I don't know if this is the version we're going to get for the rest of the season. Hopefully he could stay healthy. But if that's the case, there's your number 3. But he looked great. Awesome. Just awesome. There's really nothing that you can nitpick from Brandon Woodruff's appearance last night. Dude was awesome. Most important thing, though, too, outside of his health, Brewers did pick up the win. So they improved to 47-29 to take game 1 of this series. Next up, game 2 of this series, and we're going to have Brandon Sproat on the mound for the Brew Crew. So we'll recap last night's victory, last night's epic performance from Brandon Woodruff, and then look ahead to game 2 of this series coming your way. First pitch is at 6:10. 6:10. So we'll catch up with RJ Cardinal just past 8 o'clock, about 8:20 here this morning. So obviously yesterday too, I mean, the less than 24 hours, you have big shakeup in the Big Ten Conference with Dusty May leaving Michigan to be the new head coach for the Dallas Mavericks. But that definitely is a big trickle-down effect for the rest of the conference for basketball. So we'll talk to RJ a little bit about that and some Badger stuff with RJ. So that's coming up. As I mentioned earlier, it is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what in the world is grinding your gears? Well, there might be a few things. You can let us know. It is also I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. So fill in the blanks. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. Best ones we'll read up on the air. So, all right. That's your game plan for us this morning. Let's pitter-patter. Let's get at her. You know, we're really leading off things. We're talking some hoops. We're talking some Bucks. It's a big moment in Wisconsin sports history. I'm sure a lot of people are kind of saying, finally, or thank gosh we finally have a decision. I completely get that. You're feeling a lot of relief. But it's also okay to feel a little anger, to feel a little sadness, or maybe a little happiness too, because you really like the package being returned. Whatever the case may be, what are your thoughts right now? Regardless, it is a huge moment in Wisconsin sports history. So let's talk about it. We'll take our first break, and then the leadoff coming up after these quick words. So how are you feeling this morning, Bucks fans? How are you feeling, Bucks fans, with the trade of Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Miami Heat? It actually happens after it seems like it's been throughout, 10 years? It hasn't been that long, but man, it seems like it has gone on forever. But it finally is happening, where Giannis being sent to the Miami Heat. Bobby Portis and Giannis. I want to throw that in there because Bobby Portis is a very beloved member of the Milwaukee Bucks, has had a lot of great moments for the Bucks too. So it's Giannis and Bobby Portis getting sent to the Miami Heat. Tyler Hero, you got Ware coming, Kasparis and Jaquez with a 13th overall pick in tonight's draft, and then you get 2 future first-round picks. That's coming in 2031 and 2033. Those are both unprotected. Pick swap in 2030 and a second-round pick in 2033. What are the emotions that are going on for you right now? What's kind of going through your mind as you had maybe for some of you, you're just finding out because it happened late Monday nights. I think it's completely fair to feel a bunch of different emotions or go through different stages of grief and such. One, there's a little bit of shock. Another, there might be some relief. There's some sadness. There's some anger. There's some maybe happiness. A little bit of a mixture of all, and you just throw it into a bread bowl, and that's what you put in the oven. That's what you got. That's your emotions. So definitely what I'm going. I mean, I'm here. I'm down. I'm a little sad because it's an end of an era. It's the end of an amazing chapter in Milwaukee Bucks basketball history. The greatest player in franchise history is no longer suiting up for the Milwaukee Bucks. We're not going to see the number 34 ever worn by a Bucks player again, unless for some reason Giannis comes back to Milwaukee later on in his career. That's the only way that's happening. But right now, as far as we know, we will never, ever see Giannis suit up for the Milwaukee Bucks again. He'll be back in Milwaukee. The number will be retired. It'll be in the rafters. There will be a welcome back. But we won't see him suit up for the Bucks again, unless, again, it's like end of his career. So it's the end of an era. It's the end of a Bucks era that for so many Bucks fans, kind of similar to Brewers fans, right? But so many Bucks fans that just wanted a championship, wanted their basketball team to be relevant. You know, the closest for people of my generation, my era, I mean, the closest that they got was the Ray Allen, Big Dog, Glenn Robinson, Sam Cassell, George Karl era. That got a little bit of a taste, right? But that was the closest. There's a lot of parallels to Brewers and Bucks. But in comes in this 15th overall pick. Nobody knows how to say his name. A lot of people still probably can't even say it properly. It's like, okay, nobody knew at the time that was potentially going to be the greatest player in franchise history, but the development, his appreciation, his embrace for the state, for the city, for the team, the amount of work he went through to be great, and he brings a championship to Milwaukee, a couple of MVP awards, multiple All-Star, All-NBA team selections, top 75 player, NBA Finals MVP. Heck, throw in an NBA Cup in there too. There's a lot of stuff we can be thankful, and we should be thankful that we got to see Giannis play for our state team, the Milwaukee Bucks. We should be incredibly thankful for that. And I hope Bucks fans, if they're going through stages of grief, they're going through some anger, they're down a little bit, eventually I hope they will come to realize maybe you have anger against Jimmy Haslam or the ownership or the the front office for doing this. And I completely get it. But eventually, I hope that you will be thankful for what we got from Giannis all these years. We got a championship. We were able to experience that. Should there have been more? Of course, there always should be more. Bad luck with injuries, questionable roster decisions by the front office. Hindsight's always 20/20, but you look at it. I mean, those were that championship team. Gosh darn it, wasn't that a fun team? Giannis, Brook Lopez, Middleton, Drew Holiday, PJ Tucker, Bobby Portis. What a fun team. And that's a team that I think a lot of Bucks fans, Wisconsin sports fans are going to remember for a very long time. Very long time. There's going to be plenty of time to say, yep, they should have won more. Yeah, they probably should have. But right now, you kind of look back and, gosh darn it, I'm down. I'll be honest. I'm down. I'm down because I'm not going to see Giannis in a Bucks uniform again. Giannis made Bucks basketball relevant. Okay? He made it so we want to watch. We bought in. It sucked me back in. I used to be a huge NBA fan as a kid. But after the turn of after 2004-ish, kind of soured on it. But Giannis, kind of, with what he was doing, yeah, got me back in. I mean, for crying out loud, I remember 2015, the first-round playoff. I was in Chicago, actually, for the draft. Remember what happened that night? It was playoff series. It was final game with the Bulls were the top seed. Giannis just punched Dunleavy, and it's okay. And then you had the Jabari Parker era. It's okay, we're going to have Giannis and Jabari Parker, and that didn't work out. But, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I could ask for your favorite memories for Giannis, but, I mean, it's the finals. That epic finals against the Suns. The steal from Holiday, the alley-oop to Giannis, the block too. I mean, just come on. There's so many great memories that you can't. It's hard to pick one. So I'm a little down. I'm a little angry that we got to this point. I'm angry because I hate this about sports. This is one of the things I hate about sports. Why? Because of stupid decisions from front office, or whether it's players wanting out in that. This is the hard part about being a fan. When you feel like you become, especially for younger fans. I'm thinking about this more for younger fans, and because I have a soon-to-be 9-year-old who is a big Giannis fan. And I don't even think he knows yet. But it's I've been there. All right, we just had Hudson's birthday party yesterday. I also had a birthday party, and it ended up being a Shaq-themed birthday party. What happened the next day? Goes to the Lakers. So, kid, we got another thing in common now. But it's one of those I don't think younger fans quite understand, that this is a reality and it's a norm in professional sports. So much player movement. And they don't quite understand why yet. Kids are innocent. Younger fans are innocent. They don't get, or they don't understand the behind-the-scenes stuff, and they shouldn't at this point. So it stinks for younger fans. It stinks for young Giannis Bucks fans that they're not going to see him suit up for their favorite team. And I understand it in sports. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be trades, that there shouldn't be free agency or anything like that. You hate to. I guess maybe I'm more old school, and maybe I'm just that guy sitting in the front yard. But when it comes to great players, man, I wish those players in those franchises could just stay together throughout their whole career. It's not going to happen. It's more rare than anything. But it's just, I don't know. I hate that we get to this point where your team is such in a bind because of financial stuff, and you can't make moves to bring in players and that. So it's okay, we got to trade our best player then and restart. I hate that. It's a reality of it. I get it. I understand it, but I still don't like it. So I'm feeling anger. Yeah, I'm also feeling a little relief because, yeah, we don't have to talk about it anymore. We don't have to talk about it anymore. We don't have to sit here and wonder anymore. We don't have to sit here and say, what did he mean by saying that? Or is this report true? Is this report false? Well, they're lying here. But are they lying? This whole what if, what do they mean sort of game, it's over. So there's a relief factor to it all. There's a big unknown feeling. Maybe that's anxious, uncertainty, because I'm going to be real. I don't know if I trust John Horst to build a contending team. I don't know if he is the right general manager to build a team that can get back to competing for championships, getting to the postseason, competing for championships. I don't know. He's made some good moves, but he's made some highly questionable moves. Draft history, not great. He did not draft Giannis. He inherited Giannis. I compliment him for making a Drew Holiday trade, signing Eric Bledsoe, and then realizing, okay, that didn't work, shipped him off, and you bring in Drew Holiday. That worked. Dame at the time, I liked it. I got it. I understood it, but it didn't work. There's Miles Turner one, and I think they completely panicked last year. And I get it. I understand it. But there's an anxiousness from my feelings that I don't know how quickly, how soon we're going to get back to seeing this team competing for championships, or are we going to in the near future or the next 5, 10, 15 years? I don't know. It's a period of uncertainty. It's a period of unknown. And a lot of us, we don't like to not know. We don't like to not know what's going to happen, or at least have a good idea of what's going to happen. And it's also an unknown, too, with the guys that the Bucks are getting back. Hero, Ware, Jacquez, Kasparis, a few first-round picks. Are those building blocks? Are they going to flip guys like Hero to get more draft picks? We don't know. I don't know. And I don't know if this was enough. Miami, they win a championship with Giannis. Hey, it was worth it for them. And if the Bucks are able to, if these guys turn out to be staple players, nice role players, maybe even develop into all-star type of players, then it worked out. We don't know if this is a win-win trade yet for either team. We don't know yet. So it's okay to feel a wide range of emotions right now. I'm down. I'm upset. I'm confused. I'm relieved. I'm probably not happy right now. Maybe relieved and happy kind of fit together. A little duo there, but I'm not happy that they got rid of Giannis. I mean, come on. Are you relieved because you didn't want to deal with maybe some of the talk and some of the drama? Sure. But let's call a spade a spade. The Bucks just traded their best franchise player of all time. I don't know how many years he has left. He's been banged up. I don't know if Giannis is going to be, an MVP, how well the Heat are going to do, if he's going to get another championship. But I think, the one thing, too, that I will always appreciate from Giannis during his time with Miami, I've said this a few times. When we're young, we always have our sports heroes. We always have our sports people that we look up, the athletes that we look up to. Everybody did. Whether you were Jordan, I was Shaq, Petty, older, Bart Starr, whatever, whoever. Giannis always, and we're in a day and age of social media where we have such a wide range of access to these athletes, and we get to hear from these athletes more and more and more, and maybe even get to know them a little bit more than what we used to when we were younger. And it's like, oh, yeah, that person ended up not, maybe being the best person and all that. But I always thought, okay, if my kid had to look up to an athlete, Giannis just seemed like the perfect one. Family guy, said the right things, great player, a dude who puts in the work. So I'm going to miss that part too. That's going to be a Bucks player. But when you talk about maybe the Wisconsin sports Mount Rushmore, I know everybody does Mount Rushmores. I understand it. I get that. Okay, and I think at times when there's a down period and maybe the sports world and some people are trying to figure out some talking points, that's kind of always a go-to. But now that we know he's not going to be with the Bucks, do you put Giannis on that Wisconsin sports Mount Rushmore? For some, yeah, they will. For some, they may, that's going to represent the Bucks. Maybe you divide it between Badgers, Bucks, Brewers, Packers, and you do one for each. Or maybe it's just 4 when you think of 4 sports icons in Wisconsin sports history, regardless if you even it up, regardless if you do repping basketball, repping football, repping baseball. Giannis' top 4, maybe with a Favre or with a Star, a Lombardi, a Euchre, Robin Yount, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think Giannis is on mine. I think I again, what he did for basketball in the state of Wisconsin for the Milwaukee Bucks, I don't know if I'm going to see it again during my lifetime. And I think that's another thing when we look at some of these great athletes, these players that are playing for our favorite teams, we get caught up in the moment. We get caught up in nitpicking or being too critical at times, overanalyzing Monday morning quarterbacking it. But also, I think we sometimes just like, okay, don't take it for granted either because you don't know when it's going to be done. So I'm going to miss Giannis. I understand the move. I understand the decision. I get it. I'm a little down. I'm a little perturbed because this is an all-time great. I am relieved we won't have to sit here and wonder anymore that we have a decision. We know what that decision is. And I guess we'll see how it plays out here in the next few years. All right, let's take a quick break. I know I went a little long on that one, but your thoughts on Giannis being dealt? What are some of the emotions you're going through right now? Get it off your chest. Quick break. We'll be back after these few words. Believe it or not, hunting season preparation starts right now, and there's no better place to gear up than Tilden Gun in Chippewa Falls. Whether you are looking to upgrade your deer rifle, pick up a new turkey shotgun, or add a dependable shotgun for trap, sporting clays, or target shooting, Tilden Gun has a wide selection of firearms from the brands that you know and trust. Their knowledgeable staff can help you find the perfect fit for your hunting style, experience level, and budget. Plus, you will find ammunition, accessories, optics, and more to help you get the most out of every trip to the range or into the field. Don't wait until the season is right around the corner. Get prepared now and shoot with confidence later. Stop by Tilden Gun in Chippewa Falls and see why sportsmen and shooting enthusiasts throughout the Chippewa Valley trust Tilden Gun for all of their firearm needs. Let's go through a few texts here with the Giannis trades. C-Bomb says, I'm trying to go through some of it, appropriate ones here. If I'm a Bucks fan, my Grind My Gears Tuesday complaint is the Bucks ownership and management, the only player in our lifetime to bring a championship. What does that say? Something Milwaukee, and you walked him out the door. Giannis loves the city, loved being a Milwaukee Buck, and you dealt him. That is plain horse crap management, and I would become a Heat fan if I were a Bucks fan. Tim the Cooley region says, I was shocked this morning to hear about the trade. I'm happy for Giannis to go to a better organization when he can possibly win another championship. The Bucks organization is a disaster. Giannis will always be a great story for Milwaukee, and he will be regarded as the greatest Buck due to all of the records. Kareem was a better player than Giannis, but was only short-term time with the Bucks. Loved the run the Bucks had with Giannis, and it's now time to move on. I won't be making time to sit down and watch any Bucks games, as they will be terrible for a long time. I feel bad for Hudson as he tries to understand this. Jake from State Farm says, I'm hoping our picks work out and we do what Wisconsin does best, send players away and have their career fizzle out. It felt kind of like the end of the Aaron Rodgers era. Grateful for the time he was here, but also was sick of the hee-hawing around from the Greek Freak. Go play 30-some games a season somewhere else. I'm a little salty if you can't tell. All right, so who are you most, maybe this is the question. Who are you maybe more upset with, since it is a Toyson 4 to Grind My Gears Tuesday? Who are you more upset with? Are you upset with Giannis, maybe as, can I quote you, Jake from State Farm, saying hee-hawing around? And throughout the whole time, these last couple of years, there were times where, like, can Giannis just say what he wants? And then he would say, I want to be, I'll be in Milwaukee as long as they're competitive, kind of open-ended sort of thing. I mean, are you, where do you direct? And then we had a couple other texters, calling out management and ownership. So if you are angry and you do want to grind your gears on this Tuesday morning, who are you directing your anger at more? Giannis for not explicitly saying that I want to be a Buck, I am a Buck, and I don't want to go anywhere else, don't trade me? Or front office / ownership? And how much do you fault the front office the last few years? I mean, they took risks, they took chances, they made moves, but a lot of them didn't work out. So where are you directing the most of your anger at, if we kind of go through a little bit of a grieving process in this whole thing? I understand both sides. I understand all the sides that we've had people kind of chime it in here. I understand it. I get that. But if you had to pick one, where would you go? Chuck also sent I should say we got a message from Chuck. Where did God dang it, my computer's just not working the greatest. Says it only took 3 years of ownership, but Jimmy Haslam has taken the Bucks to a Cleveland Browns-like future. That's the other part too. You look at part of the ownership, and it's Jimmy Haslam. And I think this was one of the main things a few years ago when it was announced that he was part owner, we were all concerned, weren't we? We were all concerned, what is the franchise going to look like? What is he going to do to this franchise? And by all accounts, he was a driving force to accept the Heat trade compared to the Celtics trade. So I don't know if anybody preferred one over the other. I don't know if he was like the main driving force to get rid of Giannis. I'm sure some people are going to assume that. But maybe we'll find out more in the coming days. And usually, too, we got the draft tonight. It's just the NBA draft is so different than the NFL draft. Right? I mean, we know some of the players. And I think there's probably some disappointment, too, from fans. And I think a couple of you mentioned it. They couldn't get higher picks, better picks, top 5 within the top 10. They got 10 and 13 tonight. It is a deeper draft, but there's probably some frustration surrounding that, too. But, hey, keep sending them on over. We will get to Brewers talk, peeps, but we got to realize as well that this is a big moment in Wisconsin sports history. So, all right, let's take a quick break. Back to wrap up the first hour after these quick words. I think I might need some extra caffeine to get through today. Holy moly. But we just got a few minutes left to the top of the hour. Continue to send us your Bucks thoughts. We got a couple here. Dave on the Shoe Doctor's bullpen line saying, Bucks will be the 2030 NBA champs. Bummed that Giannis is gone, but he will be 3 years past his prime by then. John going a little bit of a different opposite approach here, saying, what absolutely grinds at my gear is this spineless, incompetent Bucks front office completely driving this franchise directly into a brick wall. We didn't just trade away a two-time MVP, the greatest player in modern franchise history, a guy who brought us a title. We basically gave him away on a silver platter to Pat Riley for what? Tyler Hero and a bunch of filler guys. Jimmy Haslam has turned the Milwaukee Bucks into the Milwaukee Browns. If you want, you can continue to send us your thoughts here, but hit us up. Text it. We've got, wait. We got a few more here. Zach says, man, I was really hopeful that Giannis was going to stay a Buck. It's a hard pill for me to swallow, knowing he won't be out there on the court. We got a few more to get to here, but let's say good morning to Morgan. Good morning, Morgan.
Got your Giannis shirt on.
Yeah.
What's the percentage breakdown right now with Sports Talk Nation here?
For
reaction.
Or anger, sad, relief.
A little bit of everything?
Yeah.
All right. Kind of like a breakup?
Yeah.
You kind of saw it coming, and now you got to process the finality of it?
Yeah.
All right, so Tuesday Tesla questions. We'll take a break from the Giannis chat since you guys will be doing plenty of that. I'm going to ask you a debate question, and you can decide how you feel about it, Kasper. All high school athletes should be drug tested.
Yeah, sure. Why not? What do you got to hide?
Even in high school?
I was.
You guys were?
Mm-hmm.
Really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Do high schools do that now?
I assume they still do, but yeah, we had to. This was over 20 years ago.
Huh. How about school should be in session year-round?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you like the summer break?
You need a mental reset.
As a student or as an adult? Because I know parents right now trying to shuffle summer schedules are like, okay.
No, as a student. And just because my first quarter grades were always better.
Okay,
because it was rehashing. So.
Speaking as an adult, though, do you wish it was year-round so it wasn't so... Okay, you still like the summer break?
Yeah. Spend some time with the kiddos in the summer.
What about if animals could talk, which species would be the rudest?
Cats.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they seem rude. They don't even talk and they're rude.
Yeah.
That's probably, Is it better to binge watch a series or pace it over time?
It's probably better to pace, but I go binge.
Okay, what's the last thing you binged? Okay, so for example, while you're thinking of that, have you guys jumped on the Pit bandwagon yet?
The what?
The Pit?
No.
With Noah Wiley?
No.
Because that's in like an ER drama.
No.
But it's binging it. It's like you're going to see a lot of gross stuff. Some things are better in small doses.
I think from a TV show standpoint, the last thing I probably binged was it's got to be probably the Stranger Things because I'm trying to binge Dutton Ranch right now.
Not bingeable?
I just don't have time. Like when I think about binge sitting down, I'm trying to binge Ken Burns' American Revolution documentary, but you can't binge that
it
thing.
unfolds in real time.
Yeah.
It takes it's like 250 years to watch.
Veronica's re-binging Dawson's Creek right now.
Ah,
When Hudson goes to sleep, that's her late night fix. So.
all very similar to Ken Burns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does bringing store-bought food to a potluck make you a bad guest?
No.
So a potluck doesn't mean homemade?
Correct.
If you're going to a potluck, what do you bring? What's your signature?
Ooh. Veronica always makes probably some sort of dip.
Okay.
Like a weird dip.
Like
crack dip. Have you ever heard about that?
I've heard of crack dip.
Yeah.
That's the ticket.
That's one of them. So.
That and some people's taco salad.
Yeah.
Like taco salad in Wisconsin is a signature dish. Some people make it better than other people.
One more.
When you're out to eat, a friend pays. Are you ethically obliged to return the favor?
Yes.
Okay. No matter what, even if you didn't ask?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And taking guests before people come, or taking phones before people come into your house, yes or no?
No.
Ever?
Ever.
Okay.
I don't trust what they're going to do to my phone.
What's on there to find, as you would say.
All right, here we go. Second hour, kick it off on this Tuesday morning. It is a Grind My Gears Tuesday. Thanks for making us a part of your starts. If you're up and at it already here, obviously, if you're like, hey, just waking up, what did I miss? You've missed a lot so far. You can continue to send us your thoughts and your reaction on Giannis being traded to the Miami Heat. It is the NBA draft tonight, so as of right now, the Bucks will hold the 10th and 13th overall pick as part of the trade. The 13th overall pick coming to Milwaukee, so maybe they'll get more if they do decide to flip Tyler Hero, but right now we don't know. So. But continue to send us your thoughts. We've got Brian from the Card Collecting Club saying the Bucks are still reeling from the Damian Lillard trade where we got fleeced. Love Giannis, but the pieces to build a championship team were gone. It was better to get something for him while we still could. He hasn't been healthy lately, and a rebuild was needed. Maybe Miles Turner's pops up in another trade to build up draft capital. That's the other one too. Like they got to Miles Turner, Kyle Kuzma. Got to figure out how to move on from those guys and maybe get something in return. Feel like, yeah, but. Continue to send us your thoughts on that. Also, it is a Grind My Gears Tuesday brought to you by Toys & Ford, but don't forget it is also a I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. So fill in the blanks. Best ones we'll read up on the air. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. Okay? So best ones, creative ones, fun ones we'll read up on the air. Let's switch gears here for a little bit here. Because we did have a Brewers game yesterday, last night. Brewers picking up a 2-1 victory against the Cincinnati Reds. It was scoreless heading into the 10th inning. So Brewers able to manufacture a couple of runs. But the big story outside of the win has to be what we saw from Brandon Woodruff yesterday. What a gem of a performance from Brandon Woodruff last night. Exceeded all of my expectations. He goes out there, he throws 6 innings, 1 hit, no earned runs, strikes out 10, no walks. And his fastball, the miles per hour, were ticking up just a little bit the deeper he got into the game. Slowest was, I think, was the graphic, like 89 miles per hour in the first inning, but 5th inning, it was like 92, 93. He looked good. He looked really good. I'm trying to temper my expectations and such, but man, if this is the version we're going to get from Brandon Woodruff, and you pair that up with what we've seen from Mizorowski and what we have seen from Kyle Harrison so far, I'll take that top 3 into the postseason any day. Any day of the week. Twice on Sunday. That was a brilliant performance from Brandon Woodruff, considering his last start was back in April. Definitely exceeded all of my expectations. So hopefully this is something that he can continue to build on. And he's not going to have not every single game from Brandon Woodruff is going to be 6 scoreless innings and 10 Ks and no walks and 1 hit. It's not going to happen. But man, he looked good. He looked really good. Please, baseball gods out there, do the Brewers a solid and keep Woodruff and Miz and Harrison healthy heading into the postseason and playing well in the postseason, because that is a trio that can take you deep into the postseason and get you to a World Series. I firmly believe that. Also, too, I want to get your thoughts. So there wasn't a lot of offense last night. So there's really not anything to talk about from an offensive standpoint, other than Bryce Terang did get a couple of hits. And, I mean, Brewers team-wise had 3, and Terang had 2 of them. What did you think of, at the end of the game there? Because Joey Ortiz got to start at shorts. Hamilton got to start at third. But you had a Cooper Pratt, Joey Ortiz, Bryce Terang, infield. Man, I kind of want to see that more from a defensive standpoint. Credit to where credit's due. Joey Ortiz moving over to third base late in that game last night too, made a couple nice plays. And shout out to Jake Bowers on that final out too, that stretch to secure that catch, get that toe on the bag to secure the final out. So, and then Joey Ortiz obviously too with the sac fly deep to right to get the first run, and then the wild pitch to score the next one. But you got to give him credit to where credit's due. Joey Ortiz defensively and made the sac fly into right. But that's if that's, I don't want to say an everyday type of lineup, but man, Joey and Cooper and then Terang, that's a heck of a defensive infield. So game 2 coming up tonight now, and we got Brandon Sproat going to go for the Brew Crew. Brandon Sproat 1-4 with a 5.94 ERA. On the flip side, we got another left-handed pitcher for the Reds. Nick's going over there 2-2 with a 6.12 ERA. He's coming off of a loss where he gave up 7 earned runs against the Mets back on the 17th. When you look at some of the lineups here, Yelich, he has struggled though, 12 career at-bats, .083. Vaughn, 10 career at-bats, 200. Ortiz does have a home run against him, 250 and 4 career at-bats. Frelick, I don't know if he'll be in the lineup since it's a lefty, but I mean, in 5 career at-bats, he's hitting 400 against him. Jackson Chourio, 7 career at-bats, 286. A little bit of experience going up against Brandon Sproat from the Reds, but you're talking maybe a game worth just a couple of ABs here. But Brandon Sproat here, he is, when we look at his last last few starts here, go back to the game against Cleveland, where he got the starts, just went 3 2/3, and he pitched 65 pitches, 4 earned runs, 1 home run. Before that, against the Athletics, was an awesome game where he went 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run. It's the consistency part with Brandon Sproat's game. The consistency. Can he just put together multiple performances where he, build upon the success and stack that success, not have one good outing and then a few bad ones and then get back to another good one and then have a few. That's the biggest thing. We know Brandon Sproat. We've seen it. We know he's got talent. He's got some skills. It's just, it's got to kind of all come together. Very similar to Mizorowski. I'm not comparing him to Jacob Mizorowski, but like Mizorowski last year, we knew the guy had skills. We knew the kid's a good pitcher, and he's got some heat. And he could throw a flipping baseball. But it was just the consistency part, putting it all together. I think that's where Brandon Sproat is at this point. We know he's got talent. We know he's got the ability. And maybe he eventually will be a better option coming out of the pen. But right now, I think the biggest thing that we need to see from Brandon Sproat is that consistency part. And it looks like right now, based off of the Brewers' schedule and how many games that they got going on here, they are going to go with a 6-man rotation, just kind of how it's lined up here. And it makes sense. Yeah, it said, so Kurt Hogg said, this was from Kurt Hogg yesterday, Pat Murphy said that the Brewers are going to resume with a 5-man rotation after the off day Thursday with 18 games in 17 days. Brandon Sproat will remain in the rotation from the sounds of it. But Dominic Cottorino also saying that appears for now the Brewers will roll with a 6-man rotation as they are 1 week into their 27-27 to close the first half. Projected rotation this week, Sproat, Shane Drowan, off day, Miz, Harrison, Robert Gasser, Woodruff. So maybe one more start for Shane Drowan and then back to the pen. If they go back to that 5-man rotation, Sproat, Miz, Harrison, Robert Gasser, Woodruff. And then when Logan Henderson's back, then I think you have the question of Robert Gasser and Brandon Sproat. But we'll get to that point when we get to that point. Mondays is a TBA, though, for what it's worth, a to be announced. Or no, that's, yeah. No, not Monday. That's, what was I thinking? Off day. They got an off day after Shane Drowan, so. All right. First pitch tonight, 6:10. Coverage begins 35 minutes prior. Let's get back to some more hoops talk, some Bucks chat. We got the draft tonight. We'll get you the latest on some of the mock drafts out there where the Bucks are potentially going to go with their picks. So now that they've got 2, at least right now, it could change, but they've got 2 in the first round. Maybe there's some more moves to be had. What do you think? Let's have some fun predictions here, okay? Do you think the Bucks are not done? Do you think there's going to be some more wheeling and dealing today? What you got? Let's have a little fun. Make some bold predictions. All right. Well, we'll get back to some more hoops talk. Got a few texts to catch up on as well on this Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. We'll be right back after these quick words. Looking for the perfect summer hangout? Well, then you need to make your way on over to the VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire. Enjoy some beautiful views overlooking the river, some great food, some cold beverages, and some of the best live local music that you will find anywhere in the Chippewa Valley. Whether you are meeting some friends after work or spending a summer evening outdoors, VFW Post 305 is the place to be. Great views, great music, great times. That's the VFW Post 305. All right, before we get to some mock drafts, some updated mock drafts, since it's draft night in the NBA, and we've got 2 first-round picks now for the Bucks. We got a couple of messages to get to here. First off, Jared from Manitowoc says, at least now the Bucks can dump his waste of bench space brothers too. Surveyor Sam, good morning, DK. You know what grinds my gears? Bucks fans right now. I get it. You're mad. You're mad at the front office for not doing more to keep him. I understand if you're upset with Giannis, but let's look at it this way. We as Bucks fans had a superstar player, considered the best in the world for 13 seasons. He won multiple MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year awards, consensus first team, All-NBA, and to cap it all off, he brought Milwaukee and the state of Wisconsin a championship, the first in Milwaukee in 50 years. If you're mad at the front office, why? They made multiple moves to bring a championship here and to try to continue that all-in mentality because the fans were pressed and we only have Giannis for so long. They traded for Drew Holiday. They traded for P.J. Tucker. They traded for, I forgot, Serge Ibaka, Jay Crowder, and Dame Lillard. All for the opportunity to compete for another ship. But we are so short-minded that we forget these things. When you trade for stars, you have to pay. And when you're consistently drafting in the mid to back end of the first round, you're not finding any all-stars. Can we also understand that if Giannis isn't injured in 22 and 23, we are in the finals again, along with Chris Middleton. The front office did everything they could to compete, and that's all they can do. Thank you, Giannis, for everything, for the love of our state, for the heart that you showed on and off the court, for being a role model for thousands of young fans and even us parents. Thank you for 13 years of dedication and for saving the franchise from leaving Milwaukee. So I think Surveyor to Surveyor's point there, do you fault Milwaukee's? Well, because I want to dive into that a little bit more. I got a couple more on the video stream that I want to get to here. Let's go. I got to scroll back up here. Matt says he's a special player, but looking at it from a glass half full situation, only played more than 67 games once in the last 5 years, disappears in the playoffs, and isn't getting any younger. I think disappearing in the playoffs, though, is probably because he's hurt, right? I think that's what you're referring to. So, Zach says, I know he had missed some time in recent years, but that's what happens when superstar athletes, because they play so hard. I really think Milwaukee should have hung on to him so he could retire as a Buck. Alex says, as much as Rodgers was able to drama queen, I'm feeling a similar kind of gut punch this morning with Giannis leaving as I did when Rodgers went to the Jets. What's funny, though, is I have also gotten much more interested in the Brewers as a result of the Bucks declining. Just need to be grateful for what we do have. I think that's a good point. So, Alex also saying Brewers having Miz, Harrison, and Woodruff in the rotation makes me feel much better about our postseason chances. Paul says, with acknowledging this trade is important in a huge Wisconsin sports moment, I'm glad we can all move on after a few days. It was grinding my gears that this was all everyone was talking about. So, yeah, I think, again, that goes back to what we were talking about in the first hour. A sense of relief moving on. So, okay. Going back to Surveyor's comments about the front office building and making those moves because of the championship window. Do you fault how much? I mean, so I want to pose this question out there to Bucks fans. do you fault the front office over these last few years for where the current state is of the Milwaukee Bucks? Do you fault the front office at all? Because on one hand, because you can look at it from two different sides. You can look at it from, okay, they were aggressive in moves. They tried to make moves. They went out there and they did this. And you could say this is what we've wanted the Brewers to do. We wanted the Brewers to do this. We wanted the Brewers to, take chances, take some risks, go out there and get a Tarek Skubal. On the other hand, it's like, but they made the wrong moves. Should they have kept Drew Holiday over Dame Lillard? It's easy now, hindsight 2020, because let's just play a little what if. If they had won a championship with Dame Lillard, we're probably not talking about that, but they did it. And that's probably the point for a lot of fans that are out there. But, I easily see both sides of the aisle, both sides of where you may be at this. Like, you don't fault John Horst, you don't fault the Bucks front office for trying to be uber aggressive, knowing that they have a guy like Giannis. Knowing that, okay, we've got to try our best, we got to be ultra aggressive, we got to take some major risks in player acquisition and trying to get those players to pair up with Giannis. I think it's very similar to what a lot of people want to see the Brewers do and have wanted to see the Brewers do over the last few years. Now, can you, again, make the case that, okay, the decisions that some of the Bucks management, front office, John Horst, can you make the case that some of those decisions didn't work? 100%. But again, it is a little bit easier. It's hindsight's 2020. Because we can see the results of some of those moves that John Horst and the Bucks made. We obviously don't see anything from the Brewers, so we're just kind of sitting there just wondering. And we assume that some of those risks could work out. Because right now it's the Skubal trade, right? You have a lot of Brewers fans saying, trade for Skubal, you're going to the World Series. We don't know that. We don't know that. But you want to take that risk. You want to take that leap into the pool for just one championship. Well, the Bucks kind of did that. They had Giannis, so they're like, okay, let's do this. First off, they thought they had something with Eric Bledsoe running the point. Chris Middleton was there, younger version of Chris Middleton. Bledsoe was putting up some nice numbers. But then after he signed the contract, it was kind of like, okay, this isn't working. So what does he do? He ships him to New Orleans and brings in Drew Holiday. That one worked. But then injuries started to settle in as the team got older. Middleton was getting banged up. Even Giannis was getting a little bit banged up. So what did everybody say? What did every Bucks fan say after? Gosh, Giannis needs a Robin. Giannis needs another scorer. Giannis needs another guy who can create. Middleton isn't that guy anymore. So they brought in a guy that can score, that can create. It's Dame Lillard. But you had to give up Drew Holiday. Which, Drew Holiday is one of my favorite players of all time. And I think a lot of Bucks fans did not want to see Drew Holiday go. But it's easy for us at times to play general manager and Madden and front office creator and say, well, I would just trade Middleton for him instead of Drew Holiday. If you're Portland, are you doing that, though? Because Portland then shipped Drew Holiday off to Boston. Who's gonna get you a bigger return? Drew Holiday or Chris Middleton? It was gonna be Drew Holiday. So while it was kind of sad to see Drew Holiday go, it was sad, I shouldn't say kind of. I got why they brought in Dame. To get that creator, to get another score. It didn't work. Injuries. I still feel like if Dame did not tear his Achilles, that maybe it's still Giannis and Dame on this Bucks team. There's definitely no Miles Turner. there has definitely been a lot of moves that hasn't worked out. But try to view it from a non-hindsight 2020. Do you fault John Horst in the front office for trying to be aggressive, for taking risks? And I think, Surveyor, I think that's kind of what you're coming at, or what you're throwing out there. At least they were doing something. They were trying to do something. They were trying to be aggressive. They were trying to, win more than just one. And I think that's where a lot of Brewers fans are coming at right now. It's like, can you go make some moves? Can you send some prospects so we can just get one championship? Okay, let's say if the Brewers trade for Tarek Skubal and he gets hurt before the postseason, you don't have him, and then he's gone after this year. Are we upset at Matt Arnold? Or they trade for Skubal and they don't get out of the first round of the playoffs? Are we upset at Matt Arnold in the front office? Or do we give it a pass because, hey, at least he tried? Like, where are you on that side? Because we can go back and forth on this all day. I guess for me personally, and I know this might not be the most popular opinion, but I don't fault John Horst so much because he was aggressive in a lot of his moves. Were some of the moves like, really? Yeah, sure. 100%. And is it easier to look back at it and say, well, that didn't work? You betcha. But I think if we're going to have that same type of energy where we want the Brewers to go out there and get another bat or get another pitcher and do this and do that, the Bucks kind of did that. They tried. And when you do try and you give up a lot of assets and you throw out a lot of money and it doesn't work out, it's going to hinder you. They took some major risks and it resulted in one championship. If they had gotten one more, three more, two more, whatever, maybe then it's looked at as this era as a little bit in a better light. But I can point to some trades and moves and say that didn't work, but I don't know if I can be overly critical like you guys were too aggressive, you took too many risks. In a market like Milwaukee, too, I think you have to be at times. Yeah, you have to be smart. You have to be diligent in some of those moves. But I think ultimately at a certain point, you might have to be a little bit of a risk taker if the ultimate goal is to win a championship. That's just my opinion on that. All right, we got to take a quick break. Back with plenty more coming up after these few words. Don't forget to check out Hy-Vee on Facebook for their latest flyer for this week's deals and savings. We're talking about $3.99 Tombstone pizzas, DiGiorno Classic, Jack's Rising Crust, or cheesy pizza dippers. We've got a freezer in the garage that's just for Hudson's frozen pizzas all the time, so we'll definitely be taking advantage of that. $5.99 six-pack of Bubbler sparkling water. And, I mean, if you want to cool down with some warmer weather, you got $5.99 Blue Ribbon Classics frozen dessert gallon or novelties on sale. Cottage cheese is big in our house, too. That's on sale for $3.28. Even our dogs, we got to put a little bit in our dog dish for the dogs to eat, too. So 3 for $5, Hy-Vee, Midwest, pork boneless, pork loin, butterfly, or America's Cut chops. That's on sale. $2.49 with the purchase of 3 for Doritos. Heck yeah. So 39-cent Hy-Vee yogurt, 6-ounce cups. Easy snack during the day, too. So, as always, again, go to the Hy-Vee in Eau Claire's Facebook page and check out the latest and greatest savings. And then you can also double dip with fuel perks, or with their fuel savers. So you can earn some money from that and save at the gas pump, courtesy of our good friends from Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Rando from Chippewa says, I don't really fault the front office. When you have a player like the Greek Freak, you need to go after players to play with him. Those players cost money and draft picks and will most likely be hard to deal with later on. But if you want them to compete with that type of player, you have to deal with what comes with, and now all those risks work out. John says, I don't know who said that Giannis doesn't show up in the postseason, but I would like to see some numbers that back up that ridiculous statement. Apparently the person forgot about the Bucks Giannis leading the Bucks to the championship and all those other amazing games he's had in the postseason. At what point did he not show up besides being injured and literally could not go out there? Another texter here says, I can't fault the Bucks front office too much. Yeah, there were some questionable moves. I was not in favor of the Drew Holiday, Damian Lillard trade, but I got it because we were all begging the Bucks to get another scorer for Giannis. They did exactly that with Dame Lillard. They traded a team favorite in Drew Holiday, but people are so Monday morning armchair quarterbacking that they hindsight 2020 every single move and point to that move. What does that say? Point to a certain move to prove their point, I think is what it's supposed to say. Okay. Another text coming in here from Ben. Ben says, I've had my issues with John Horst, specifically when it comes to drafting. I think he has a major fault in that area, but I can't fault him for being aggressive with some trades. Milwaukee is not a destination for a lot of NBA free agents. They had Giannis, so they had to be aggressive with a lot of trades. I wish people would just understand this instead of just expecting everything to fall in their lap. We've got another texter. Who is this person that said he can't compete in the postseason? Let's see some numbers to back up that ridiculous statement. Okay. Moving on here, we got another text that says, Giannis is the greatest, and I will always be appreciative of his time with the Bucks. This is from Matt, by the way. Always be appreciative of his time with the Bucks. I get everybody's going through the stages of grief right now, but we also have to look back at it. It was a fun era of Bucks basketball. It will probably be down for the next few years, but hopefully they can turn it around. I'm going to be glass half full with this approach. Another texter says, I did not like the Damian Lillard and Drew Holiday trade. I was a big Drew Holiday fan, his defense, and just the way he led his team. However, I can't fault the Bucks for trading him for Damian Lillard because, if you remember, it also led to Giannis signing an extension. Unfortunately, this is how the NBA works. You have to make your star players happy, especially in bigger markets. That move directly affected Giannis in signing an extension to stay with the Bucks. We can look at it a bunch of different ways, right? Yeah. And you're right. He did sign an extension after the Dame trade. And I think that's one of my bugaboos when it comes to the NBA is it is so superstar heavy at times that teams do get caught up in trying to make their best player the happiest that they can be. Case in point, Giannis making those trades, having his brother on the roster, having both of his brothers on the roster. Bucks aren't the only team that does that, and they won't be the only team to have done that. Lakers do it with LeBron and drafting Bronny. I mean, we've seen it all across the league. I mean, remember, too, the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, his dad's an assistant coach. We see this more, I think, in the game of basketball in the NBA than maybe any other league right now. It is a players-driven league. And players have a lot of control and a lot of say. Really quick, Jeff says Giannis is 11th in all-time averaging in points per game in the postseason. Why are we saying he doesn't show up in the postseason? I'd have to look up to see if that's true. I don't know off the top of my head, but okay. All right, continue to send us. I didn't know we were going to get down that path, but here we are. All right. Let's take a quick break, and we'll wrap up this second hour. We're going to switch gears here coming up in the next hour. Yesterday was also a big day in the basketball world with Dusty May leaving Michigan, leaving the Big Ten. He's going to go to the NBA. We'll talk a little bit about that and the trickle-down effect it may have in the Big Ten with Mr. R.J. Cardinal coming up at about 8:20 this morning. So, all right, we'll take a quick break and be back after these few words. Summer road trips create some great memories, but sometimes accidents do happen. If a fender bender puts a dent in your plans, you could trust Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire to get your vehicle looking like new again. Their experienced team provides quality collision repair and attention to detail that helps restore your vehicle and your peace of mind. When life bumps into your vehicle, you can count on Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, our official Backyard Dreams partners. Again, we'll get to some more Brewers talk coming up in the next hour as we get set for Game 2 tonight. Brandon Woodruff looked awesome last night in his first appearance since April. So we got the NBA draft tonight. Obviously, the big story in the sports world is the Greek Freak, Giannis, getting traded to the Miami Heat. The Bucks, as of right now, they will host right now. We'll have 2 picks in the top 13, number 10 and number 13. Number 10 and number 13. So kind of take a look at some of the latest mock drafts that are out there pegging where maybe the Bucks are going to go here. I think a lot, too, are they going to flip Tyler Hero? I think that's the other part. If they flip him, and then maybe it changes the need of another guard, another shooter. If they do keep him, and Chris Haynes is saying that Tyler Hero is definitely open and excited to play with his hometown team. It's just, would they sign him to extension? Would he stay with an extension? So you're still seeing a lot of the same names here. ESPN updated their mock draft with the Bucks now at number 13. So at number 10, they've got Braden Burris, the guard from Arizona. And then Kareem Lopez, the forward from the New Zealand Breakers. Now, international player, so we may not know a whole lot about him, but this is their write-up. It says, teams picking in this range of the draft have been operating in anticipation of the Bucks eventually acquiring this pick from the Heat, a move that finally took place Monday night. Whom the Bucks take at number 10, as well as how they value their incoming younger prospects from Miami, will have an impact on what they do at this point. Lopez is one of the players Milwaukee has shown strong interest in and should be an option at this pick, particularly if the Bucks draft a guard at number 10. His mix of physical tools, versatility, and intangibles make him a moldable, long-term prospect. If he doesn't come off the board by this slot, teams think he could wind up slipping into the teens. Cameron Carr is another name to watch for Milwaukee if this spot is a wing. Cameron Carr is from Baylor. He guard, forward type of combo. So, yeah, I'll be honest. The NBA draft, outside of maybe the first couple picks, the first few picks, it's kind of a crapshoot after that. It's all across the board. NFL draft is maybe a little bit easier. I shouldn't say a little bit. I think it's quite a bit easier to kind of predict and project and mock draft. After the first few, when it comes to the NBA, I think it's just it goes all over the place, especially with the amount of trades that you potentially have in the NBA draft too. So I think the last time that maybe we were really into, or at least maybe I was really into a Bucks draft, might have been the Jabari Parker one. Was it going to be Parker or Wiggins? And we were all like, okay, whether it was Wiggins or Parker. We would have been happy with either one of them. What was the other draft? It was the Kaminsky and Decker one that we were kind of keeping an eye on. I think that was even, if memory serves me correct, was that also the Bobby Portis draft? Because I believe a lot of people pegged Bobby Portis going to the Bucks. Yeah, it was a 2015 draft. Okay, Karl Anthony Towns. Who did the Bucks end up getting that year? They got, that was the Rashad Vaughn draft from UNLV. That's right. Sam Decker went with the pick after Grant was after Jaron Grant, too. Yeah. And then Bobby Portis was selected by Chicago, number 22 overall. Okay. But. All right. Shot clock's going to cut me off here in just a couple minutes, so let's reset as we approach halftime. Oh, yeah. JP Dakota was in the second round. Wisconsin kid. Played in North Carolina, but from Wisconsin. Anyways. Continue to send us your Grind My Gears, brought to you by Toyson Ford. It is also I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. Best ones, we'll read up on the air. Okay? Send those on over for they're appropriate. Make them appropriate. Okay? So, continue to get to that. We'll talk with RJ Cardinal coming up in about 20 minutes or so. We'll talk a little Badgers, but we're going to talk about the change, a major change in the landscape of the Big Ten. College basketball with Dusty May. That was a huge story yesterday, but then, of course, Giannis getting traded last night is the big story tonight. But, I mean, you've got maybe a little bit of changing of the guard in the Big Ten basketball. And we'll see now with the transfer portal maybe how many Michigan players leave Michigan and go elsewhere. So we'll hit that up. And, of course, we'll chat a little bit more Brewers and plenty more Bucks chat coming your way with the news of Giannis being traded to the Miami Heat. Do you want the Bucks to trade Tyler Hero too? Do you want them to move on from him and maybe get some more draft capital? Maybe flip him? Kyle Kuzma's still there. Miles Turner's still there. Honestly, it's probably going to be a couple of years. Just they still got to pay off Dame Lillard's contract, I think, until 2030. Somewhere around there. Yeah, 2030. But, yeah. I think it's, again, kind of what we were saying in the first hour. I think it's okay to have a wide range of emotions. There's relief that we don't have to talk about this anymore. We don't have to speculate about this anymore. We don't have to wonder anymore if it's going to happen or not. There's a sense of relief. You can take a deep breath, like, finally. There's sadness to it because we're not going to see Giannis in a Bucks uniform anymore, unless it's a return at the end of his career. There's anger because you didn't want to see it happen, or there's anger because you're not happy with the package. Or maybe there's a little happiness because you're thinking about the good memories, or, you're like, hey, I think they actually got a really good return. Everybody's got different waves of emotion, and it's fine. There's no right way or wrong way to feel about this whole thing. But for me, yeah, I'm down. I'm a little down because I'm not going to see the Greek Freak playing at the Fiserv Forum wearing Bucks colors. I'm not going to see that. I can guarantee you, though, when Miami does come to play Milwaukee, I think Giannis is going to be incredibly emotional. We've got plenty of time to talk about that, but that might be, I think, kind of game plan. That will be probably a widely broadcasted game, if you catch my drift. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut me off. So we are approaching halftime. We'll kick off the third hour. We'll start it off talking a little bit more Brewers as we get set for game 2 of this series with the Reds, and then we'll get to RJ Cardinal. Quick break, quick news updates, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Halftime's over with, and we are on to the third quarter on this Tuesday morning. It is a Grind My Gears Tuesday, brought to you by Toyson Ford. Thanks for making us a part of your starts. If you haven't chimed in yet on the whole Giannis being traded to the Miami Heat, that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, she's open. 715-830-1912. Or you can hang out in the Section 105 chat room. Coming up in about 10, 15 minutes or so, we'll catch up with RJ Cardinal. We're going to switch gears for just a little bit and talk some college stuff. Obviously, big changing of the guard yesterday with Michigan head coach Dusty May moving to the NBA, taking on the Mavericks position as head coach. So defending national champs will definitely have a trickle-down effect in the Big Ten basketball conference. So we'll chat a little bit about that with Mr. R.J. Cardinal. And maybe we do have one name that has apparently been so there is one name that has been revealed as a finalist for the Badger athletic director position. According to 24/7 Sports' Jason Shear, an Arizona Wildcats insider reported over the weekend that Arizona's athletic director, Desiree Reed-Francois, is being seen as a finalist for the Wisconsin athletic director position. All right, so there's one name that's actually being reported. All right, we'll get and we got another one too, a Big 12. Or no, yeah, never mind. So we'll get RJ's thoughts on that coming up here in a little bit. Yesterday, before the whole Giannis stuff, the Brewers played a baseball game. And it was the return of Brandon Woodruff. And boy, did Brandon Woodruff look awesome. 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 10 Ks. His first start since April. Boy, he looked awesome. And if we get like 90%, 95% of that version of Brandon Woodruff for the rest of the year, you pair that up with Miz and Harrison, boy, here we go. I'll roll with that 3. Any day of the week and twice on Sunday, I'll roll with that 3. Give it to me. Completely exceeded my expectations. Completely went above and beyond what I thought we were going to get from Woodruff. I thought maybe the Brewers were going to keep it, pretty pitch count and that. And it's not like he threw a ton of pitches either. So it wasn't like, okay, he got to 6 innings, but he threw 90 pitches. No. I mean, Woodruff threw 79 pitches in 6 innings. Very manageable. 53 of the 79 strikes. Whereas Singer went 7 innings, 2 hits, 7 Ks, couple walks, no earned runs. A solid performance from him too, but he also threw 106 pitches. So, fantastic performance from Brandon Woodruff yesterday. It was a game that did not feature a lot of offense. It was a pitching duel. No scoring until the 10th. Brewers able to get on with a walk and then a sacrifice bunt by Sal Freelake and Oppo sac fly by Joey Ortiz. Wild pitch, Brewers put up 2. And that was enough to get the W. So, we get Brandon Sproat on the mound tonight for the Brewers. Brandon Sproat looking for a little bit of a bounce-back performance. But so far, you listen to Pat Murphy from yesterday, it sounds like Sproat is going to continue to be in the rotation, even with Brandon Woodruff back, at least for the foreseeable future. We'll see whenever Logan Henderson gets back, if that still changes and such. But, again, I think and today is going to be a day, too, for Logan Henderson, by the way, because Logan Henderson, he did throw a live BP session on Sunday, and he's scheduled for another one today. And he's also been sidelined since the end of April. Logan, I can see going on maybe a couple of rehab stints just because he's younger. I know Woodruff had one with the Timber Rattlers, but I could see where Henderson maybe gets a couple more rehab starts. Woodruff, veteran, been around the block a few times, and you're trying to preserve. You're just trying to get every little bit of, you're squeezing out the ounce. It's like toothpaste when you just got a little bit left and you're trying to squeeze out every little bit. Kind of doing that with Woodruff. Just trying to squeeze it. You're trying to preserve a little bit here and there, but then, towards the end, you're trying to squeeze a little bit extra out here and there. But so 6:10 first pitch. Again, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. You can listen to it on the radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Yesterday, too, we maybe got a little bit of a glimpse. I mean, let's give an underrated tip of the cap to Joey Ortiz last night at the end of the game. Cooper Pratt comes in late in the game. Joey moves over to third base, and he made some great defensive plays. And I know it's probably going to be kind of a revolving door at third base. Hamilton, Ortiz, unless somebody else gets promoted. But that's a heck of a defensive lineup when you throw in Terang at second, Ortiz at third, and then you got Cooper Pratt at short. Jake Bauers made a very acrobatic catch in that last out. But that's that. If you like defensive baseball, that could be a fun group to watch. A really fun group. All right, Rando, I'm not saying the Brew Crew is World Series bound, but I'm saying they have a strong starting rotation the way they are pitching right now. If you are into power rankings, it's still top three, same top three. Mixture of Braves, Dodgers, Brewers. MLB.com, though. MLB's power rankings, by the way. But on the cusp of the season's halfway point, here's 11 things that, according to MLB.com, 11 takeaways from the first half of the season. It says Paul Skeens won't easily cede his NL Cy Young Award in the second half, but so far he hasn't asserted himself in a stacked field that includes Jacob Mizorowski. Also, Christopher Sanchez, Ohtani, Chase Burns, Chris Sale, Yamamoto, Max Meyer, and others. The NL race could be an all-timer. Oh, yeah. It also says, at this point, we probably shouldn't put it past Vogt and Murphy to win again. But an upstart season to the White Sox and then, of course, the Braves. But right now, they're probably not going to, unless the Braves have an epic collapse. Then maybe Murphy gets back in it to win. Can you imagine if he won it 3 years in a row? Just for crying out loud, yeah. But Brewer sense, number 6, their takeaway says, the Brewers and Mizorowski cannot be contained. We know better than to be surprised by what the Brewers are doing as they maintain an NL Central edge with one of the best run differentials in the sport. They've reached the postseason 7 of the last 8 seasons and won the division in 5 of them. But this organization's continued ability to shed important pieces while remaining relevant is a marvel. 2 of the Brewers' top 3 in pitching WAR leaders last year were Freddie Peralta and Quinn Priester. The former was traded to the Mets. The latter won't throw a pitch this season because of an injury, and it hasn't mattered at all. One reason, a big one, is the emergence of Mizorowski, not just as a high-velocity curiosity, but a legit ace who can avoid walks and dominate deep into the games, something that was no certainty going into 2026, but is obvious now. Yeah, I think they hit it on the head. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's talk with RJ Cardinal. He's coming up after these quick words. Summer is the season for golf, softball, pickleball, running, and staying active. But hey, aches and pains can quickly slow you down. And that's where Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine comes in. Their experienced team helps weekend warriors and athletes of all ages get back to doing what they love with expert care and treatment options designed to keep you moving. Play more, hurt less. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Okay, let's switch some gears here. We're going to bring in Mr. R.J. Cardinal, who is joining us this morning. Now, R.J., what was a really big news story yesterday was Dusty May leaving Michigan to be the new head coach for the Dallas Mavericks. Well, then Giannis had to go and, upend that's big NBA news. But from a Big Ten perspective, Badger perspective, how big of a trickle down is this for college basketball for the Big Ten Conference with Dusty May leaving the defending champions?
Well, yeah, I mean, Michigan remains a high-profile job. We'll see. It'll be a destination. They'll have their pick of the litter on who they can want to bring in and basically reform that roster. Because now, when a coach leaves, as it always has been, I mean, that roster can jettison whenever they want. So it'll be like for Michigan itself, it'll be pretty interesting this late in the year where we're a few weeks away. Well, I think maybe August might be when basketball starts reporting for off-season workouts and things like that. But it'll be interesting to see what they do now in terms of internally, because as we've seen, you can just totally turn around a roster right now, and it'll all depend on the name they bring in to replace Dusty May. But you have to think the way at least the NBA is now, he proved himself. He doesn't have to go along and do his recruiting pitch anymore or things like that. So it seems like one of those things we've seen in football a lot, where coaches are basically like, yeah, I'm here because I just want to worry about football.
Yeah.
So now all he has to do is worry about the roster he's given in basketball. But we've seen in multiple years, multiple ways, coaches not really being able to make that jump from college to pro, but you have your few cases where they've done it. I mean, Billy Donovan has done well as a pro coach. Brad Stevens has done well as a pro coach, and now a front office guy, keeping Boston relevant. And yeah, we'll see where Dusty May goes, but dominoes will fall because it's a job in the Big Ten where you can make a lot of money and you're going to be on a national scene right away as a coach.
I mean, is this just another prime example of something that you just alluded to, of a high-profile coach at a marquee program that says, I don't like the state of where college basketball is. I don't know what it's going to be like tomorrow, next week, and 5 years from now. I mean, this has just got to be another hit to the NCAA as a whole to see a defending national champion and a younger coach going to the pros because, by all accounts, he maybe doesn't like the landscape of college basketball or college sports in general.
Yeah, very well could be. And who knows, whenever his introductory press conference comes out, we might hear exactly that. Or he might say, I won a national championship and I want to challenge myself and see what I can do at the pro level to see if I can win a world championship. But I'm guessing it'll be the former rather than the latter in terms of the explanation we get. But time will tell as soon as we hear him speak. But it's something where if you have that hot name and the ability to have your system translate into the program, more often than not, I think we're going to start seeing some of those high-profile names start making the jump, unless they really just want to stay in college ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. So, Hey, I'm sure you saw this, but it sounds like we have a one potential candidate for the Badger athletic director position. This comes from 24/7 Sports, I believe. But one name is the Arizona athletic director, Desiree Reed Francois, I believe is how you pronounce her last name. She's the current athletic director at the University of Arizona. She's also been the athletic director at Missouri. From what you know, from what you read, what's your first impressions about if this is a finalist for the Badger athletic director position?
Well, in terms of fundraising, it does seem like a good option, both at Missouri and now at Arizona. She's been able to take some deficits and create a bit of a surplus of cash for the athletics departments she's been at. So that's awesome to see. I guess she was having some trouble with contract negotiations with the basketball.
Yeah,
coach?
Lloyd.
Oh, yeah. So it's, well, I mean, who knows? Maybe he's just asking for an astronomical amount of money, and there's other places who are, and so whatever is going on there. I think that's a single issue. It's not damning evidence on her that she can't do that portion of it. But at least from having an athletic department needing to have state legislature put through to help reduce construction and building infrastructure debt from the taxpayers. Hopefully, a candidate like this would be able to, at one point, maybe have that stricken.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what that would mean for that law that was put into place, or the tax that was put into place there. But track record wise, with the influx of cash, Missouri's teams are competitive. Arizona's teams have been competitive. So it's looking with at least an athletic director who can bring in money and field competitive athletics. So yeah, I mean, you can't not like it. Mm-hmm. It's a name, I think, coming out of nowhere, mostly because most people are looking back and thinking of Wisconsin connections on where people would come from and things like that. Or like we've talked about before, there's still people who want a figurehead out there, or somebody in the business world. But I think with an experienced athletic director who has a track record of bringing in donor money, it's a good place to start, or at least have a name that we can start looking at and potentially now speculate on who else might they be looking at.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, have I heard of her before the last 24, 48 hours? No, not really. But it's a pleasant surprise to read about her track record.
So kind of what you were saying there a little bit, does that maybe kind of give you the impression of maybe the background that they're looking for? Does that kind of reinforce what you thought they would be looking for in terms of an athletic director, or what you were hoping for, especially when it comes to like budgeting and fundraising, given this new wave of college sports?
Yeah, because I think we now know it up until after this last football season, it doesn't sound like it was there at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be looking very hard at athletic departments that are making money and have seen improved athletics under said athletic directors, or it could be somebody who's a very successful business person. We don't know what was said in those strategy group meetings and things like that, where we had every former Badger, influential former Badger under the sun, who's a GM in pro sports or has been a successful business person after they left the university here. I'm going to go ahead and say they are looking for experience and a person who's able to fundraise. So first name. I think you got it on both. So we'll see. And I mean, we've had it before where things have come out and then you hear nothing else whatsoever. But down in Arizona, sounds like the guy at 247 has at least some sort of insider information. So we'll see where that goes, especially when you think of the Big Ten compared to the now Big 12 on, I don't know what her salary is down there. Didn't get a chance to look that up, but I'm wondering if it's comparable or maybe Wisconsin is a better suited place to have a bigger salary. Because I think she went to Arizona, I was reading. So that could be something that's a little hard to pull somebody away from for a lateral pay movement, at least. Overall, athletically, you have to think Wisconsin might be a better move, but you can also look at it, and if you're going full athletic department, Arizona's got some good Olympic sports. The women's teams are pretty good down there, but Wisconsin's got to be seen as hopefully a step up when you think of moving into the Big Ten in terms of at least power in college athletics, conference-wide, not specifically Wisconsin right now, but that could be just a football thing.
The one thing I wanted to ask you, and I know I was reading this online too, where there was a blog post that, hey, this could be a potential red flag for her that maybe Badgers fans should be worried about, is because it goes back to Lloyd with that Tommy Lloyd with his contract negotiation, where apparently now he just reports directly to the president of the university instead of her. Like, he still has to go through her with athletic related stuff, but when it comes to budgets and performance and that, it's through the president, which some are making a claim, hey, that's a red flag when it comes to an athletic director. Do you think that's a little over-exaggeration without knowing, like, maybe the full scale, full story? Because, like what you mentioned a little bit earlier, it seemed like it was kind of a weird contract negotiation because he was really open about wanting a new deal and being paid more with North Carolina kind of waiting in the wings. Do you think this is maybe that red flag is a little bit overblown, or is that a concern for you?
Well, I mean, without having dove into it a little too much more than the surface level here, it could just be an isolated incident. And this could be something where it became contentious between the two. And now, quite frankly, she didn't go ahead and just fire the guy like some athletic directors would do because there was an argument over something. But this could be a situation where the president, maybe there were some things that were said that, the president had to step in and be like, okay, here we are. I'll deal with him, but we'll still, so I'd have to, before serving judgment, I'd kind of have to read a little more into it and what actually happened in that scenario, because it's not like the other coaches around there have been this public about things like that and having dangling the carrot of, oh, well, I have a blue blood talking to me about this, and this. So a little more research might need to be done there, but it seems, at least it's because it's your highest profile coach, I think it might be a little more in your face than if it were the women's tennis coach or the swim coach or things like that. So I'm not too sure what to think about that situation.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So, hey, before I let you go, just quick, kind of football thing, since we're approaching the end of June here. Given, your role previously and your experience with the football program, what's kind of like what are the guys doing, or what's maybe kind of coming up here as we inch a little bit closer to the 2026 season?
Well, you're going to be entering the summer lifting program here soon, if not already. I think it was like you get 2 weeks after graduation, so they're probably already back on campus with the summer lifting routines. And then about 2 weeks before fall camp. You get another 2 weeks to go home, take care of stuff, and then be back on campus for the month-long fall camp leading into your first game. So no coaches contact, but I mean, they can be in the office. The players can be in the offices watching film. Their coaches contact / supervision is with the wait staff now. So I guess the next big thing will be Squat Fest coming up here. I think sometime mid-July or early July. So yeah, I mean, really, in terms of news, it's downtime and captain-led 7-on-7s, supervised by the wait staff. So not saying the position coaches are done, because in this new age there is no really dead period, even though you're on a dead period. It's about maintaining status quo, at least until you can go back and have player contact, coaching contact. It's not like they can't talk to them if they're ever in the offices, but coaching contact, and then recruiting contact when the period opens itself up again. I believe this coming weekend is the last weekend of this round of official visits. So yeah, it's the academic year, quote unquote, is coming to an end, because the new academic year starts July 1. And yeah, it'll be, yeah, right. So, I mean, we very well could be, come the new academic year, have a new AD, because I mean, technically, I would say the turn of the calendar to the new academic year would be a good place to have somebody's salary start. So you're on your fiscal year rather than having a couple of weeks of the old fiscal year and then start on up. So yeah, it's kind of a lull period right now after this weekend for football, but yeah, then we're leading on into a month before we then head into fall camp.
Yeah. RJ, hey dude, appreciate the time, man, and thanks for hanging out with us this morning. Have a good rest of your week. By the way, before I let you go, I might as well ask you your thoughts on the Giannis trade. Anything that any like, you like it, you hate it, you understand it? What was your first thought?
Yeah, I mean, now that you know, it's over, it's one of those. The Giannis era was good. It's like you win NBA championship somewhere that, you know, you hadn't been since 1971. You had a few years in there before my time. I mean, in the 80s, it was a bunch of, like, people like think the Bucks won the NBA championship and then weren't heard from again until 2001. But I mean, those 80s teams were amazing. They were just behind the Celtics and the Pistons, so kind of hard to get on into the NBA. And then the Bulls in the early 90s. So pretty hard to get behind and have great success behind those three franchises. But yeah, Giannis, it was a great run. Whether you want to believe what he says or Shams says, where, I mean, even after the breaking news, he still is mouthing off and saying he told them a year ago he wanted to leave. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of things we actually hear from Giannis moving forward, because, you know, he's flat out said, no, I never said that. But my people might be talking to people who have said that. So it's the he said, she said kind of thing going on here. I just don't need Shams taking a victory lap because he's been saying it for 5 years. I mean,
Right.
If I said something for 5 years straight and it finally happened, you know, who like, it's not impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get a haul back. It'll be interesting to see this franchise moving forward, at least, because, you know, you have ownership might be fully changing to Jimmy Haslam. There's people who then are speculating that he wants to move the team, so this is a way to get attendance down and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be intriguing to see what takes place moving forward. But you got to like the amount of picks they got because they're getting some back because there's a few drafts here where they have 0 picks. I think there's a couple in there where they didn't really cover any of the immediate number 1 or number 2 draft picks. So still could be a little bit challenging, but you got 2 picks tonight to help you move forward. There's rumors already that they're looking to flip Tyler Hero to the Pistons because the Pistons were really in on him. So we'll see how that goes because he's got 1 year left.
Yeah.
And apparently, according to sources like his brother, who was tweeting yesterday, he wants to, if he got traded here, he'd want to stay and be the hometown hero. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what plays out because who knows if that trade goes on during the draft tonight and we get the rights to another pick, or if it'll be after the draft and you see a player swap in terms of Tyler Hero. So, yeah, just overall an interesting night into today on all the news breaking and how it was finally agreed upon. So, yeah, it'll be another Pat Riley move because he got Alonzo Mourning from the Hornets back in the day when he took over. He got LeBron. He got Shaq. He got now Giannis. So it'll be interesting to see. Usually with all those moves, coincided with some very good success that followed, whether it was good teams. Because I don't think, did Alonzo Mourning during his heyday, I don't think the Heat ever won until
not till Shaq was there, and I think Alonzo was the backup or something. So
So I mean, Alonzo Mourning, good pickup, just didn't turn into the NBA championship that people thought it would at the time. But
I blame a guy named Michael Jordan for that.
Right? Yeah. Well, and he had to deal with the Orlando Magic at that point in time too. So Miami was around the 3rd or 4th team because the Knicks were still the Knicks back then as well. So it'll be fun to see what happens moving forward, but I wouldn't expect playoffs anytime soon.
Yeah, I agree. All right, RJ. Hey, appreciate it, buddy. Enjoy the week, and we'll catch up with you again soon, bud.
Sounds good. We will talk to you later.
You got it. There you go. There's RJ Cardinal joining us here this morning. We got to take a quick break. Plenty more to get to, though. We'll be right back after these few words. Summer is here, and that means it is the perfect time to give your home a fresh new look with the help from Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. Whether you are updating a family room, finishing a basement, refreshing a bedroom, or finally tackling that remodeling project that you have been putting off, Carpet City Flooring Center has the flooring options you're looking for. From beautiful luxury vinyl planks to carpet and tile and more, you will find quality products and expert guidance every single step of the way. Their experienced team will help you find the right flooring to fit your style, your budget, and with professional installation available, your project can be completed quickly and correctly. Make this summer the summer that you transform your home. Stop on into Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire today and discover why so many area homeowners trust Carpet City Flooring Center for all of their flooring needs. You can continue to send us your thoughts on the big news story of Bobby Portis being traded to the Miami Heat.
Huge.
With Giannis added to complete that trade for Bobby Portis.
Throw in.
That. So, I mean, it happened. I don't think we're probably too surprised, but maybe surprised at the fact that it actually, like, okay, it actually finally happened. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Like, we're not surprised, but okay, it still feels. I don't think we were. Me personally, I don't think I was always 100% prepared for this to happen. I knew it probably would, but it still feels. I'm still down. I'm still sad. I'm still, you know.
Well, maybe this is an indicator. Take it from the. I don't want to say the resident non-Wisconsin sports fan because Brandon Burgos has got a bit of a claim on that.
But he is a Brewers and
Brewers, right? But
Bucks,
Packers is the one where that really comes. But for me, my priorities lie mostly across the border. But I've said it many times. Like, I like the Bucks. I like the Brewers. It's a little easier to do that because they're not diehard rivals. So I liked when the Bucks won the championship. I got annoyed endlessly by all the Giannis rumors over. When did they start, by the way? What year was that? Was that before the title or was it after?
I think it was before because I think he signed an extension after they traded for Drew Holiday. And then they won. And then he signed another extension after they traded for Dame.
Yeah.
So
it feels like 6-7 years almost worth of photoshopping and rumors and such. And even if I don't think it was entirely true, I think there is a certain element of people wanted to see him out because they just didn't like. They were annoyed that they had to factor Milwaukee into their coverage plans and such. Again, that's not the main reason, but if you asked a whole lot of big NBA media types, they'd be like, yeah, we didn't want to go there anymore, but that's not the prime reason. But it's still annoying.
Right.
But I knew this was going to happen. I know I had been saying they probably should have pulled the trigger for a while. Not that I was like a hardcore, but I was like, that makes the most amount of sense to do it. And then they actually did it last night. And I was a little taken aback by how bummed out I was. Like, I caught myself by surprise. Like, there's plenty of big Timberwolves news going on. I mean, not to the level of Giannis. But I was like, great. Now the Bucks are irrelevant. They're basically useful idiots for the rest of, and I'm kind of overstating this a bit, but they feel like useful idiots for the rest of the NBA. Kind of like the Pelicans and, to a degree, the Wizards, the Kings. They're there so you can fill out an 82-game schedule. Again, that's an overstatement, but that's what it feels like in the immediate aftermath. So yeah, it's a bummer, even if like the Bucks got a better trade grade. If you like the ESPN one, they got a higher grade than the Heat got. There's plenty of people saying actually their package is pretty good. If you take out the emotion, it's probably the right thing to do. They'll be in better shape long term because of it. But I get it. There's still a bit of mourning for it.
The one thing I want to maybe hit up on in the next hour is the Tyler Hero part of this thing. Now, there is a thought that the Bucks will flip him and get more picks. But there is also the report out there, this was from Chris Haynes too, that said Tyler Hero actually wants to play in Milwaukee, and he's like happy to be coming home and had always envisioned to play in Milwaukee towards the end of his career. So I'd like to ask Bucks fans, would you rather trade him for probably like a mid to late first round pick, whether it's this year or next year's draft, or extend him and have the hometown kid for the next few years? Like, what would be – you're going to get a guy that averaged 20 points a game last year. You know he's an offensive guy. You know the production you're going to get from him. Is he a number one option? I think we could all say probably not.
No.
But do you like the nice story of Tyler Hero coming back to the state of Wisconsin, and he actually wants to play for the Bucks, reportedly?
Not just be in Wisconsin. I mean, Giannis didn't want to play for the Bucks.
Yeah.
He liked Milwaukee. He just didn't want to play for the Bucks organization as they were currently set up to win.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to think of a comparable situation of beloved player leaves, who kind of likes being around. Hometown guy wants to come back, and it feels like, yeah, but who's the other? Is there another Wisconsin example of that? Like, can you think of like if
Caron Butler? No. Yeah, I'd have to think about
this is
that.
going a ways back, but it almost feels like, what if Robin Yount had wanted out in like 1988, 89?
Well,
but then there was some Wisconsinite player. Like, what if Jim Gander wasn't seen that? I'm doing too many what-ifs. And then he wanted to come back. You're like, well, that's cool, but you're not Robin Yount. That's kind of what the Giannis Hero thing feels like.
Yeah, it's weird because, though, too, Tyler Hero was almost a villain. Well, it's kind of a villain at the beginning.
Yeah.
Decommits from Wisconsin to go to Kentucky, and rest is his, and now it comes back, and
he's playing for the Heat too. That doesn't help. I mean, if you're playing for the Heat, that's
right.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Can you imagine if it was like Tyrese Halliburton?
Oh gosh,
that one would be interesting. But yeah. So think about that for a little bit, because I do got to play a little catch up. We got to take a quick break. By the way, did you see the new PGA Tour?
Yes.
I want to hit that up.
Yes.
There's like 2 series now coming, PGA golf fans.
Promotion and relegation.
Yeah.
They're doing it.
They are. So interesting. And Tiger's already tweeted he's in favor of this. So teed up.
We're actually hearing from Tiger Woods. Maybe that's the big story here.
We are hearing from Tiger Woods. So we'll hit that up coming up in the next hour here too. So lots more to get to here. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Just a couple minutes left to the top. John with a quick question. So with the sports media getting what they wanted and that Giannis is out of Milwaukee, hey, let's don't lump us all in there. First, I didn't want it to happen. I didn't want it. I don't think Luke wanted it either.
Not entirely.
No. What or who is the next big NBA player that the media is going to push out of their current city? Do you think it'll be Anthony Edwards being pushed out of Minnesota next?
I think that's a very good there's a good chance of it. I already saw one of the non-sports people, but he's a Knicks fan that I follow on social media, did like hey, it's a second championship parade. Screenshots of all the upset rumors of upset players, Anthony Edwards being one of them. But I didn't hear about this wasn't pushed to my notification, so I'm wondering a bit, was it from Windhorst saying that he's upset about Karl Anthony Towns and so now he might want out or something, but that was via front NBA okay, wait a minute. What? There's enough of that out there, but that's amongst a whole lot of others. Mm-hmm. So honestly, it's spin the wheel of NBA stars and whomever it lands on has got as good a chance of any. Even though I think the offseason will tell a fair amount about the Timberwolves, and we can analyze the Julius Randle thing because that has meaning for that. First and foremost, it's Jaylen Brown. That's an issue in Boston right now.
Yep.
He's been talked about a whole lot of moving, and supposedly there are issues with the front office right now. I don't know that Jaylen Brown's going anywhere this offseason, but that seems to be the most disgruntled player at the moment. Outside of the occasional thing you hear or there, I haven't heard anything about Anthony Edwards. But I would not be surprised if that rises to the top at some point if it comes out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Really quick, WIAA notes. I only got about 30 seconds here. The Board of Control improved the implementation of a 35-second shot clock for boys and girls varsity basketball beginning with the 28-29 season. This will now go to a full membership vote at the 2027 annual meeting for final approval prior to implementation due to the cost imposed on member schools. Starting in the 26-27 season, though, a 35-second shot clock may be used with mutual agreement for boys and girls varsity level non-conference games.
Get in your four corner styles while you can.
Yep. All right, 3 in, 1 more to go. We'll be right back after these quick words. All right, final hour coming your way on this Tuesday morning, a Tuesday of change or new beginnings, end of chapters, whatever the heck you want to call it. So obviously the big story out there is Giannis being traded to the Miami Heat late last night. I just saw this too. This was from Jim Owczarski, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, a little bit of a nugget. Said part of his piece that he wrote up there, Giannis also waffled on his commitment to the team throughout the season, which he said he regretted in an April podcast. But at the end of the year, he told the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel he was finished in Milwaukee, to which some are saying, why wasn't that reported? You know what I mean? Like, why wasn't that said?
Is this the Brian Curtis, now they tell us story? I was waiting for that last night once, and I'm like, okay, now we're going to hear all the other stuff. Oh.
Yeah. This is what always kind of like, when a trade gets announced in football and all this stuff, and then you hear the insider say, well, this has been worked on for months.
Yeah.
Okay, we know who we're.
Yeah.
Like I've come to over the years, like, okay, you were told this, but you are keeping your word of not reporting it because you don't want to do damage to a potential trade, to ruin it. This is what we get. I fully believe insiders know a lot more than when sometimes they're. It's like on Sundays for football season. They're pregame shows. How many news stories drop, and they're sitting on it, and they're just probably hoping that nobody else breaks it. Well, it's like Jay Glazer at the NFL draft before this year. Rams are going to do something. Something big. Oh, yeah, it was big.
Yeah, pretty big.
So,
and I preface this in case anyone's like half listening right now. This is just us guessing here in a studio. If we do get a now they tell us deep dive story in the Journal-Sentinel or the Athletic or something like that, who is going to come out looking the worst in all of this? And again, this is just speculation. It could be totally wrong on this, but why not? Everything's up in the air right now. Who comes out of this? You go kind of like after all the Maverick stuff went down, and then you got like the really bad Nico Harrison stuff coming out. Who's that guy for the Bucks?
Oh, Jimmy Haslam, probably.
I think a lot of us wanted to be Haslam or to a degree Horst, and I don't know that that's going to be the case. And again, that's why I say we're speculating. Maybe there actually was nothing really wrong. It's like, everyone kind of did what they did. Okay, and it ended up in this situation. That can happen too. There isn't necessarily Nico basically torpedoing a franchise. It's easy to blame Haslam too because of the Browns, because we're so familiar. Because the NFL is the NFL, so we hear about the Browns a lot.
Right.
He also owns the Columbus Crew, which generally has been one of the better MLS franchises. I have to check myself on that too, because I'm like, oh great, now the Bucs are going to be the Browns for the foreseeable future. Not necessarily. I think the Browns are just cursed. Doesn't matter. You could have Mark Cuban take over the Browns, and I still think they're going to be snake bitten. Pressure's on Horst, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if we get two more projects picked tonight, and or maybe they look good to start, but then we look back a year from now and they were the two duds of the draft.
Yeah. All pressure is on John Horst right now. 100%.
Because that is the biggest reason why the initial analysis has been that the Bucs actually are in decent shape. Because they got so many picks. Granted, a lot of those are way down the road. Was it 2033?
Yeah.
7 years?
2031 and 2033. Yeah.
As a reminder, 7 years ago, the Bucs had just come off their first conference finals appearance in this whole Giannis thing. That is a long time from now. I don't know if John Horst is still going to be the GM by then, but maybe.
Yeah.
But tonight it starts. So, and we won't know the answer for a long time on that, too.
Staying with since we're talking front office, You look at the last few years, how much blame does the front office get for where the Bucs are at in this position? I guess what I'm essentially asking is, they were very aggressive during the Giannis years. hindsight's always 20/20, whether certain moves worked or not. But do you fault the front office for making some of the moves that they did, acquiring Dame Lillard, acquiring Miles Turner, and releasing Dame and such, trying to be aggressive and taking these risks while you still had Giannis? Because I feel like those same fans, not all, but I feel like those same fans that are being critical of those moves are also the same fans saying, Brewers, trade for Skubal. It's you got two complete a Bucks team that was uber aggressive with moves with Giannis, where a Brewers team that they've got their process and they don't make those type of moves. But you got fans saying, please make that move and go all in for 1 year.
If you don't win, whatever is not happening is going to be the thing you want. Mm-hmm. The whole grass is greener on the other side thing. I mean, look at the Packers and all of they're not trading for anyone. They're not trading for anyone. That got quieter post Micah Parsons. But let's see how that goes. It didn't start off the best,
right,
but extremely incomplete. If that doesn't lead to a championship, we're going to be right back, unless, of course, Goody starts doing more trades or something. We're going to be right back to that with them as well. So it's always that. Horst could have made fewer moves or could have made better moves. Now, actually, the biggest story there is Horst could have drafted better. I'm going right back to what we were just talking about. That's the thing. When you're one successful first-round draft pick over the past several years was Dante DiVincenzo last decade. And I know they traded off first-rounders, but still, they don't have a good drafting record. It's why I'm kind of nervous about what we're going to see later tonight. Mm-hmm. I don't know how this is going to go. So some of those moves didn't work, but some of those moves did work. So I think they were aggressive, probably because the drafting didn't work out as well. So they had to make other moves, and eventually they made one move after another, and next thing you know, you find yourself so far off the path. That's where they got themselves in this situation right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I think it's always hindsight's 20/20 with everything when you look at this, because let's say the Brewers do make some massive trades and it doesn't work out. Well,
of course,
it's always the armchair quarterbacking
of course.
So I don't completely fault the Bucks for making some of the moves that they did, or John Horst for making some of the moves they did. But I agree with you. It goes down to the drafting part. We have to remember, John Horst is not the one who drafted Giannis.
Right.
John Horst inherited Giannis.
That was a long time. That was 13 years ago, right? 2013?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
13 years ago.
Yeah.
It's ages ago.
I give him credit for trading Eric Bledsoe, realizing that contract was a bad contract, and bringing in Drew Holiday. Mm-hmm. I give him credit for that. And then going back to the Dame thing, what were fans clamoring about? They were tired of Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton's not the guy. Giannis needs another scorer. He needs to do this. You got that guy, what we thought was Dame Lillard, but it came at the expense of Drew Holiday. I think sometimes we forget, okay, just because, they should have traded Chris Middleton instead of Drew Holiday. Portland also probably is like, no, we don't want Chris Middleton, because they knew, hey, we're going to get a better deal when we ship Drew Holiday to Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
It's got to look at it from both sides.
You don't have Wes Unseld sitting out there getting ready to be fleeced again. Mm-hmm. Those that know what I'm talking about, the atrocious GM rankings. There's not really the case anymore. Everyone kind of knows the right thing to do to some degree or another. Hey, okay, maybe Horst is on the lower end of that. But then again, maybe not. I mean, maybe he's not great with drafting, but maybe he's good with acquisition. But if you don't have the assets on your end, you're going to have to, you have to give up some to get some. Mm-hmm. And that meant giving up Drew Holiday. Look, when the Dame thing happened, it felt like they are going to the NBA Finals now because of that. That was like all of us kind of felt that to some degree or another. We're fairly quickly proven wrong, but it's what it felt like. So that was a big move. Didn't work out.
Mm-hmm. I know maybe Bucks fans don't want to hear this, but this is Shams from this morning, and there's an interesting little nugget with this thing that I want to kind of talk about. So audio courtesy from Get Up ESPN this morning.
Milwaukee and Miami will keep this deal alive and open until July 6th. A lot because of salary purposes, because that's the earliest that they can execute it. But this gives both sides the opportunity to see, can this deal expand in ways to help either team moving forward? Milwaukee likes the pieces that they got. They want to keep those pieces. My understanding is that, yeah, there's value for all the players that they've received. Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez, as well as Kasper's Yakashonas. They know that they can flip those guys probably for at least one first-round pick each. But they targeted these players. They wanted these players. Now as they move forward with cost-controlled rookie-scale contract players, that's why they chose this deal over a player like Jaylen Brown and that deal in Boston.
So this, again, July 6th, so tonight, it's still going to be Miami's pick at 13.
It's going to be so annoying. But yeah.
Then they're going to make the pick for Milwaukee. It's going to be a guy that Milwaukee wants. But the part where he said they're going to keep this deal alive and open until 6, this gives both sides the opportunity to see if this deal can expand to help either team moving forward.
Expand? That's interesting. Because it's not final. I mean, a lot of things I read from like outside of this, like I was reading, was it like Judd Zulgad from the Twin Cities? He was talking about the Julius Randle thing, and he was referencing the reported news from last night. And he's smart enough. He knows this is not official yet. Not just because they haven't signed it, and so, like we said, it's going to be the annoying who gets credited. No, like legitimately, this is not absolutely final. This is essentially it's the parameters of a deal. Mm-hmm. But there could be more to this. So I guess we can evaluate more going down the road. Like I don't think this gets worse for the Bucks. The first reaction probably from Bucks fans is, uh-oh, who else are they getting rid of? No. I maybe it goes the other way.
I'm wondering if it's more of where that third team then comes in, where Tyler Hero gets flipped to Detroit for a pick or something.
I figured this was going to be a 3-team deal to begin with, and that makes a lot more sense.
Which to me then would tell me it's probably not a pick for this year. It'd be for next year.
No, yeah, if you're gonna, you wouldn't just rely on someone to. I mean, I guess if someone gets picked and they're upset about it, or maybe there's a nunk, which I just reversed that. You know what I mean? I don't know that this is a 2027 or 2028 one, but that's probably the smarter move. You don't want to have like 3 or 4 in one draft and then screw them all up. Oh boy, you could be in trouble. Of course, on the other hand, you could have. Well, no, you want to spread that all out also for salary purposes because, let's say you had 4 first-round picks this year. At first blush, wow, that sounds great. In a few years, when all of those let's say you nail all those picks. I guess that's a good problem to have, but that also means you're going to have to pay them all at once. You're going to have to break up your team real fast. Suddenly you have like a short window. It's smarter to spread these out over a few years. So, I think that's what we're getting, like a second first-round pick for the Bucks in 2027.
I would agree. All right. What are your thoughts? You can keep them coming. Hit us up. I want to switch gears here for just a few minutes coming up after the break. If you are a golf fan or maybe not, it's still kind of intriguing what the PGA Tour is going to be doing differently. We'll tell you what they just announced a little bit ago coming up after these few words. Switching it up just for a few minutes because I think this is something of note, though, with the sport of golf and the PGA Tour. So we are getting 2 tours now. Kind of sounds like that's
Champions and Challengers.
I don't want to say like a major and a minor league, but like the champions people are not able to golf in the Challenger Series, but challengers can get promoted to the champ. So like you said, is it soccer style
It kind of
relegation?
reminds me of soccer. So this new PGA model that's being introduced, is this for next year?
Yeah, 2027, 2020. I'll double check.
Okay.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me, to a degree, of the international soccer model. So, I mean, to use the most well-known example, in the Premier League in England, it's the top 20 teams. Then there's the Football Championship. It's the division right below that. Football League's the division below. They got several divisions worth, and then the top 3 get promoted, bottom 3 get relegated, and among all the divisions. So kind of, it's a variation of that. So what did I see? The top 90 golfers in this new Champions.
2028, by the way.
Okay.
Yep.
They stick around for the following year. And then the top 20 from the Challenger Series that happens at the same time in a given year, they get promoted. So I suppose if you don't make the cut, you essentially get relegated, if I'm interpreting that right. So it essentially is promotion and relegation. A lot easier to happen with individual people versus the reason why promotion and relegation almost certainly will never happen in the biggest pro sports leagues in America is because of all the infrastructure, the big stadiums, et cetera, et cetera. You're not going to vault up a tiny minor league team up to Major League Baseball, for example.
So the championship series will feature up to 24 events, including 16 signature events, the Players' Championship, 4 major championships, season-ending events, and the President's Cup or Ryder Cup. Each of the 16 signature events will be 72-hole stroke play tournaments with average field sizes of 120 golfers with 36-hole cuts to the top 65 and ties. Each will have a purse of at least $20 million. The season will run from around February through August. At least the top 90 players in the points list from the championship series will retain their membership. The following season, another 20 will be promoted from the Challenger Series each year. Additional categories such as tournament winners, medical extensions, and career milestones are yet to be finalized. There will be no sponsor exemptions for this. So, you like it? This is let's face it. Golf is usually a sport that doesn't change a whole lot. This has changed. Do you think this is in direct response to, I know they're not going to be around anymore, but what live?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's that. Now, as a far more casual golf fan, I basically follow the majors. That's it.
Yeah.
And maybe the Wisconsin, like the occasional Wisconsin tournaments, maybe the 3M one, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I could not tell you anything about how the PGA Tour goes. It's like the tennis championship, stuff like that. NASCAR's a little more familiar. I don't know how that goes. I just know the major winners. Probably most casual fans like me would be in the same boat as this. So first I'll defer right back to you. Is this an upgrade over how the PGA Tour has previously run its season?
I think I'll like this better than the FedEx Cup or FedEx Cup. But yeah, FedEx Cup. I was thinking you said NASCAR, and I'm like FedEx Cup. No, yeah, FedEx point system. Yeah. I think I'll like this a little bit better. I want to see it play out. I think this is going to weed out a lot of golfers, from up and down, and that's going to be tougher to make this upper level PGA champ. It's going to be really confusing because what happens now to the seniors is it still going to be called Champions Tour? What you got to change that name, otherwise I'm going to get really confused. Because last year we were talking about Tiger's going to play the Champions Tour. Now which Champions Tour? Like the 2A, 2B, whatever. I don't know, but
yeah.
Also, really quick, the PGA Tour said it has already identified 10 of its 15 Championship Series regular season tournaments for the 28th season. The current 8 signature events, Pebble Beach Pro-Am, the Genesis Invitational, Arnold Palmer, RBC Heritage, Cadillac Championship, Truist Championship, Memorial Tournament, and the Travelers Championship, which are all bigger tournaments that are well established at this point. So the Tour Championship will continue to be played at least East Lake Golf Club in Atlanta this year and in 2027 before being rotated to, quote, prestigious courses, including many that the Tour will play for the first time, such as Pine Valley Club in New Jersey, Cypress Points Club in California, and Seminole Golf Club in Florida. So I wonder, could that actually help Wisconsin be in play for a Tour Championship site?
Maybe. Now, there was also the thing that said they're also hoping to go to big markets for some of these other ones. Like, oh, okay, so that would be, where did it list this? I just saw the list of cities. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, like Boston, Denver, New York, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Seattle, and Washington to fill out the remaining 5 spots on the calendar. Okay, cool. I hope so, given our longstanding concern up here about how the Wisconsin and Minnesota courses, and by Minnesota I really mean, out in Chaska, but how all of those are kind of out of play for the majors, given that the U.S. Open has their particular ones. They like to be coastal. They're so far, they're already scheduling into the 2050s right now. And the PGA having moved, it's too early in the year.
I'm intrigued with this one, though, because I was kind of curious about the golfers who don't make the top 90 that were in there. It says golfers who fail to retain their eligibility in the championship series and face potential relegation will be able to compete in a, quote, last chance series after the regular season ends. The series will include 4 to 6 events in the U.S. in the fall. The fields will include a limited number of spots for top finishers in the championship series, as well as players facing relegation, Challenger Series players, and other categories that are yet to be finalized. Any golfer who fails to regain his championship series status and doesn't advance through the last chance events will be eligible to compete in the Challenger Series the next season. So you're almost making it a year-long event for golf now.
It is. Like I was saying earlier, in terms of casual fans, I had to very quickly remind myself the other day that, the Open is still coming next month. I was like, are we done? No, Open, yeah, duh, of course I know that's in July. But after that, well, it used to be August, the PGA, but of course that's May. So I think for a fair amount of folks, golf is off the radar once the Open Championship is done. That's July, and there's a whole lot of golf to play. But when the majors are done, it's the same with tennis. Wimbledon is done. Okay, tennis is off the map. But again, this is a perception thing. It's not for the actual play. Like this I think is mainly for the sake of the golfers who wanted the PGA to be redone. It's why a whole lot went to live. And now it's making it what I'm guessing, unless I'm reading this way wrong, but given who's commenting positively on this, including Tiger Woods, I think this works. This will make a whole lot of golfers enjoy the PGA season more. It will have, in a PR sense, a boost of visibility for the PGA Tour in that you're going to hear a little bit more about, hey, this prominent golfer, let's say, given all the golfers who potentially were going to get or miss the cut. Let's say, like, okay, Bryson could be relegated. Okay, if that's happening in like September, October, that actually kind of becomes a story.
Yeah.
Now we're paying a little more attention to golf out after the majors. If that gets broader interest in the sport, in the particular PGA Tour, given that that's the dominant one, obviously, really the only one very, very, very soon, I think that's a good thing for the professional sport of golf in the United States of America, per se. So, I mean, generally speaking, I like it. It'll take a fair amount to remember all of the details with this because there are a lot of details, but I kind of like the structure of this.
I'm intrigued with it for sure. Hey, before we take a break, I'm going to throw this out there. Chris Haynes, who, remember, he is apparently married to Giannis's wife's cousin, so he's got.
Yeah.
Giannis was open to signing with 3 teams. Did you see this?
Yep.
Okay. Heat, Celtics, and the
Minnesota Timberwolves. Yes.
I wouldn't have minded that.
Yeah, I that's the impression I got from Bucks fans. There was a moment last night after the Randall trade.
It was was that like last year when they were shelling out all those? Oh, they're opening up cap space for one Giannis.
And then Jared Dubin, one of the NBA guys, he posted immediately after that. He did the Brian Windhorst fingers thing.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, is this happening? Is this happening? But pretty quickly, especially once the IO extension came in, which that was a fair amount of speculation after, like, wait, they're opening this up for that's. Yeah, honestly, that would have been really, really cool. I'm trying to get my head to go over the heart. The head says, nah, Giannis would not have been the best move for the Timberwolves long term. I think it's probably just as well. Mm-hmm. Man, that would have been cool.
It would have been. All right. Quick break. We'll be back after these quick words. So the NBA draft is tonight too, by the way. I mean, there's that. Bucks we know will, well, technically pick once, but we know the Heat's gonna. That's the Bucks pick. So if you're gonna be watching the draft tonight and you see the Heat at number 13, it's because the trade's not officially official.
I suppose that pick could still be moved. I mean, what if they package something else and Bucks move up? I mean, this will be a fluid draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be Giannis will still be a big talking point in this draft. And I think we're going to find more. I mean, there's going to be more movement I would expect today before the draft. And even during the draft, that doesn't involve picks. I mean, we kind of got it going with Julius Randle yesterday with the two. By the way, did you like that one?
I think so. I mean, when I saw like the initial deal, I'm like, Timberwolves trade Julius Randle, and then of course the notification cuts. I'm like, ooh, who are they? They're getting the 33rd pick. That's it. They're trading down. Not getting. I think they got like one player out of it. Yeah, it was a salary dump. Mm-hmm. And yeah, okay. So they lost the cat trade. You lose some. Okay. But he probably had to go. Talk about the chemistry being off with the Timberwolves. And the sense I get, here's a Now They Tell Us article we're waiting to see. Was it Julius Randle that was screwing up the vibe in there? Again, Judd Zulgad, his story about Randle from this morning. In his Substack, starts out pointing out how Randle's numbers noticeably declined after the trade deadline. And he was mentioned a lot going into the trade deadline. Mm-hmm. And then his playoff performance was really not good this year. Wasn't that great at times last year. It's like he was sulking. And I don't know if that contributed to the Wolves being off. How many times was it like, we know the game plan, we just don't know how to play. Was okay to go there. Was he the clubhouse cancer? And the Wolves went, all right, you're out. We don't care. We're taking a dump on this one, salary dump on this one. Would also help them get Ayo Dosunmu Ayo Dosunmu signed. That was a better deal. I know it's a short-term example of play for the Timberwolves, but boy, he was good coming in. I'd rather have Ayo than Randle at this point. And now we get to find out how Naz Reid plays. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be a sixth man anymore. How is that going to go? Might as well find out now. That was another thing that I saw. So between him, McDaniels, let's see how that goes. But I also they're not done either. They've got a few more things to fill.
Did I see something last week about like a Rudy Gobert to Boston for Jaylen Brown sort of thing?
Something like that. That's not dead yet. I don't know that it's going to happen at this point, but I think there's some.
I don't know about a Jaylen Brown, Anthony Edwards backcourt. To be honest with you, that.
Also, we're getting small.
Yeah.
I don't think that happens. I don't think Rudy Gobert moves this offseason, period. Wouldn't rule it out in the future. I don't know what they would have at that point other than, again, salary flexibility. Mm-hmm. There's a bit of speculation this might be a quote-unquote off year, too, given that Dante DiVincenzo is going to take a while to come back, obviously. So if you're not operating at full strength this next year, I know you don't want to have a quote-unquote prime Anthony Edwards year essentially get wasted.
Yeah.
But how realistic is competing this year for a championship? Like a year from now, it's probably a whole lot likelier that they could be one of the absolute top teams if everything goes right. It's a tough spot for Tim Connolly, but outside of the cat trade, he's generally earned more benefit of the doubt. Let's say he's earned more of a benefit of the doubt than John Horst has, to be blunt. Mm-hmm. He has.
Do you think, I got to throw it out there just because, Thanasis is going to be playing in Miami?
I was actually wondering how long are the Antetokounmpos going to keep playing for the Bucks?
I mean,
the joke is they're all going to go to Miami, but because they were all playing for Milwaukee or some Bucks-related team for the herd. Well, I don't want to say wouldn't be funny, but what if one of them sticks around in Milwaukee? What if Thanasis stays a Buck? I mean,
he's got quite the following with his podcasts and such. So,
and if the Heat are like, yeah, I know we got Giannis. Yeah, I know we brought you in. No. We don't have room for. I mean, is Giannis going to go to Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra and say, bring in my brothers or we got problems?
but
really?
the thing is that Pat Riley's already proven publicly that doesn't work for him.
Right.
He does not cater to that.
Right.
So
No, you're I mean, Giannis, okay, he's built a lot of equity because he's Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of the all-time NBA greats. Doesn't have the best personnel track record, shall we say?
like a lot of players.
Right. He's now dealing with two people who have also built a whole lot of equity in their NBA careers. I don't think you can come in and say, hey, here's how I would like to have this done. Well, that's cool. If they can find room for the Antetokounmpos, they'll make room happen. And if not, they won't. It's a question of what do you really want here? And I think they have more leeway to work with that. So I wouldn't be surprised if Thanasis or one of the others ends up playing a little bit. How excited are you for Kyle Kuzma, Milwaukee Bucks headliner?
Can we just like release him? I mean, what's the I mean, come on now. What are we doing here?
Is he going to be like the headline?
According to him, though, he's not a throw-in player.
Right.
Did you see that?
Oh, no.
Did you see it?
I did not, but
so
I mean,
this was Bill Simmons, I think, said something about, Giannis or any part of a Giannis trade, like Kyle Kuzma would have to be like a tax or an add-on. And Kuzma like tweeted something like, how does a wing player could play 1 through 5 and average this, and this? Yeah, here it is. Since when is a 6'9" wing who plays any role you ask, guards 1 through 5, shot almost 50% from the field, and cares about defense, a quote throw-in? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
And then he like tweeted before that too, major announcement soon. Like what? So
Well, that's great. Is that easy leaving and we'll be happy about it? I don't know. I mean, Kuzma's not a bad guy. It's just he's not playing that well. Maybe he'll be unlocked now. I don't know.
yeah.
Jaime Jaquez.
Oh gosh, I'm just going through his Twitter right now, and I shouldn't have. This was back on the 18th from Kyle Kuzma. This is how word for word. Kuz fans will be happy about what I do on the court this season. Such a good rhythm this summer. Excited to build on the consistency I had last season.
This is giving me shades of look at Ben Simmons' three-point shooting. Oh my gosh, he is jacked this summer.
I don't know. This is where I get when there are people out there that just tweet at celebrities, athletes to try to get attention. Huncho. Kuz, don't listen to the rumors. Milwaukee loves you here. You've shown heart and tremendous growth as a leader for the franchise. Kuz responds, real one. Dustin, we love Kuz in Milwaukee. I love it too, says Kuz.
Well, at least he likes Milwaukee. I'm being a little facetious. On the other hand, at least he likes Milwaukee.
Don't ever start a tweet, kids, that says your name and then fans.
Yeah.
Kuz fans will be excited. No. That's like Seinfeld. Jimmy, is it Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah, the basketball Jimmy.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Casper fans.
No. I don't like that. All right, we got to take our final break, and we'll wrap it up with some picks. We got baseball games, and maybe we'll do some draft predictions here, too. So, NBA draft predictions, that is. Quick break, and we'll be right back after these few words. All right, wrapping it up on this Tuesday morning. Let's do some picks. We're going to start off with the baseball world and Houston taking on Toronto.
We'll go Blue Jays.
I'm going to go Toronto as well. Kansas City, Tampa Bay.
Rays.
Yep, Rays. Yankees, Tigers. Yankees. Mariners versus the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Go M's.
I'm going to go Mariners too. Rangers, Marlins.
Let's go Miami.
I'm going to go Miami too, yeah. Philadelphia, Washington.
Philly.
Cubs, Mets.
Cubs.
Guardians, White Sox.
I'll take the Chi Sox.
I'm going to go White Sox too. Okay. Dodgers, Twins.
I'll go Dodgers.
Diamondbacks, Cardinals.
Cards.
I'll go Diamondbacks. Boston, Colorado.
Go Rockies, why not?
I'll go Boston. Baltimore and the Angels.
Angels.
No, I'm gonna go Baltimore. Braves and then the Padres.
I'll go Atlanta.
Athletics versus the Giants.
The
Aaron Savali versus Robbie Ray, if that helps.
Okay, let's go Giants.
I'll go Giants. And then Brewers, Reds, Brandon Sproats on the mound for the Brew Crew.
Reds.
I'll go Brewers. I think offense.
Is he finally going to get a win, or is this in spite of Sproat?
I think he'll pitch fine. I just think the offense is going to come out a little bit more. So, got to be, especially after last night for both teams.
Wow. So. 0-0.
Who will be the number one overall pick tonight?
AJ DeManza.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Will Peterson be drafted number 2? The Jazz thing.
It looks like they're starting to, or something did happen between the two. I think it happens. Mm-hmm. Darren Peterson does go to the Jazz.
I do too. But
the Jazz don't seem to care about you don't want to play here. We're going to draft you anyway, and then make it work.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a prediction for the Bucks at number 10? Are you going to go with Nate Amends, the forward, from Tennessee that has been mocked there since the beginning?
I see right now ESPN's got him going 9, which does make you wonder would the Bucks try to go up? They got Burries from Arizona, and then unofficially at 13, Kareem Lopez from south of the border.
Mara from Michigan's been rumored with the Bucks. They've got him at 11 to Golden State. So I mean it's. Kind of Carr has been mentioned as well, 15 to the Bulls. So
I still think there's a little bit more moving to go. If I had to guess, I think the Bucks get the 10th and the 13th when trade is finalized, et cetera, et cetera. But I would not be shocked if somehow there's a little bit more movement yet tonight. This is a draft definitely worth following in real time tonight.
Mm-hmm. Screw it. I'll go with Nate from Tennessee because that's just been mocked the whole time at 10, and then 13th drafted by the Heat for the Bucks. I'm gonna go Carr. Why not? From Baylor. So
okay,
we'll roll with those. But
Ahmed could go 6 too. He could go really early.
Yeah, you could.
Would that be too much for the Bucks to move up to 6 if
Brooklyn
suddenly wants him?
I don't think you trade up to the top 5 or top 6 or top. I keep your picks right now. Just keep it. Go with 10 and 13. It is clearly you need some guys.
Because Darius Acuff from Arkansas is almost certainly going to the Kings, so that's kind of a moot point. After that, I guess it depends on who you really want, because the Hawks could move.
Mm-hmm.
So 8 is a possibility. 6 might be too much. But if Ahmed does not go to Brooklyn, do you think 8 would be worth leapfrogging the Mavericks? Is it that important to get him?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. Especially when you don't have a whole lot of capital to begin with, for future picks. Just stop it.
Get ready to get used to some.
Do you trade down?
You could get some additional picks. Well, and again, your
13th, let's say. Let's say all of a sudden Miami trades the pick.
Yeah. I guess they could. That'd be kind of bad to do. They're not going to do that against the Bucks' wishes. This does not feel like one of these, top 6 players, and after that, a craters kind of draft. So if they wanted to move down and get an extra first rounder, and again, like I was saying earlier, you don't want to have too many because they all work out, you could actually have a pretty big financial problem coming down the road. Everything works.
Michael Red tweeted about an hour ago.
Michael Red,
yeah.
What's up?
The Bucks are dead. Long live the Bucks. Players come and go. The team is the thing that lasts. It's the deal every one of us signs up for, whether we know it or not. You get your window to be the man, and you try to give the city everything you've got while you're there. Eventually, though, somebody else comes along to take your place. I came up in a league what guys like Glenn Robinson and Ray Allen meant to Milwaukee. Later on, I got a little run of my own there. And down the road, I watched younger guys like Brandon Jennings get their shot, too. And that really makes me feel old if Brandon Jennings replaced him. Now I don't belong in the same breath as a lot of those names, especially not the one we're talking about today. But for the sake of making my point, I'll include myself. Every one of us mattered to Milwaukee for a stretch. And every one of us got moved, got old, or got left behind when the team decided it was time. No shame in it. The name on the front of the jersey will always outlive the name on the back. What Giannis did in Milwaukee speaks for itself. He brought a title to that city that waited 50 years for one, 2 MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year. He stuck around when plenty of guys his size would have pushed their way out a lot sooner, and he gave that place everything he had for more than 10 years. One of the greatest to ever wear that incredible Bucks jersey. But the page always turns. It turned on Kareem all those years ago. It turned on me and the fellas I played alongside, and now here it is turning on Giannis too. It's just time for both sides to get the next chapter started. Thank you, Giannis, for the championship, for the memories, and for repping Milwaukee the right way. The Bucks are dead. Long live the Bucks.
Michael Red.
Yeah.
And an NBA Cup. I'm being a little facetious, but if Adam Silver has his way, that's going to look a lot better in the future. Yes, let's remember, Giannis, in large part, brought the Bucks an NBA championship. Let's remember that.
Yeah.
Let's remember that. That's a pretty big deal. Mm-hmm. That did happen.
Yep.
That's part of the legacy right there.
Yep.
Look, the Bucks aren't going to move. You know what? There's a little part of me that's maybe I'm thinking LeBron, Cavaliers, blah, blah, blah. Not the first decision, but the second one where they suddenly got kind of more relevant faster than we thought. Not that they're necessarily going to be the number one seed in 5 years, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks are more competitive quicker than we think in the next 2 or 3 years.
Hopefully. We'll see. All right. Enjoy the draft. We've got Brewers tonight, 6:10 first pitch. Coverage begins 35 minutes prior on your radio dials. Same place, same time tomorrow morning. We'll talk to you then.